Jay and I were talking. Gojo and Salaryman are like if you took Kakashi Sensei and you split them in two.
That's Naruto, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, they're
Noted.
Right, like where you got this.
Write that down.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta do a Naruto episode now, just so that you get all my fucking references.
Ready for the sound?
What the fuck is that?
You like that?
I don't even think I can do it. Do it again. No, I feel like I'm gonna puke if I try to do that.
It's air coming from my cheeks through the space between my molars and my cheeks at the back. Close. That's why you get two different tones, because there's two different noises happening at once.
Fucking hate you guys so much. All right, we're good to fucking go.
Go. All right. Juju Magoo.
Yep.
Wait, I should probably do that.
That was a really bad one. Yeah. You suck at that.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll take it.
That was a good one.
We'll take it.
Okay.
Okay. What's up?
We're back.
We're back.
Why are you copying me?
I don't know.
Jordy's got some cursed energy going
Yeah,
on today.
seriously.
I'm loaded with cursed energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start
special
eating-
grade cursed energy.
Start eating fingers.
No.
Yeah, all of them. All of the Well, welcome to Anime Shmanime,
What's up,
where we
Shweebs?
try to get my skeptical friend Jordy here to start liking anime.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back.
So, I'm Mikey Lee, your host.
I'm skeptical Jordy.
Yeah.
And I'm Senpai J.
Hi, senpai.
Hello.
Spoiler alert.
Today we're spoiling
Jujutsu Kaisen.
the hell out of it. So if you
A
haven't
big
seen
one.
it and you want
Yeah.
to,
If you haven't seen it,
you made mistakes.
what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Go watch this right now.
Yeah, the movie's coming
Yeah.
out.
Literally.
Yeah.
I,
Well-
I promise you're going to find something to like in this show.
Yeah. At the time of this recording, we're going to be going to see the movie like next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Movie's
And this-
coming out. Yeah.
So go
Very
see
exciting.
this one. This is so good.
Yeah.
And again, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil the fuck out of everything in this.
Yeah, we are.
So buckle in.
Buckle in. So Jujutsu Kaisen is
Yeah.
as if Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde went to Hogwarts.
You got to give it to him.
You know what?
I don't even need to explain any further.
I don't want to talk to you right
He's
now.
good, man. He's very good.
Oh,
He's
wait,
very good.
Let me give you a
You
second.
don't even need to break it down. It's
let
very
me-
obvious.
Let me.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
A bunch of wizards learning how to be wizards.
No, it's not. It's
It's wizard school.
There's even a Dumbledore, dude.
yeah. You're a piece of shit. That's what you
just saying, dude.
And you know what's funny too, because Jay and I were actually talking about this,
Yeah.
and how this is so like, it's your typical shonen formula,
Sure.
but just packaged in such a nice way, where
And-
you have, your three. Your trio and
main
then
team,
your mentor.
Yeah,
like
it really
it's
is.
Naruto. Like even though we haven't covered Naruto yet, but
Yeah, that's actually the first thing I wanted to get into too. Is my general thoughts. The first thing I noticed is like this is the same as every other show. The same premise, right? The dude
Yeah.
gets introduced to supernatural powers. They could be demons, devils, whatever. In this case, they're curses,
Yeah.
right? Dude turns out to be like super powerful in defeating them. So he gets scouted by some like association that already has been trying to defeat them.
Yeah.
He joins the team. He like starts training and gets stronger. And then he ends up like like launched into this world of
Part of
dealing
the
with these-
team.
yeah, that's it. And that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
this one, even like the element of the fingers that he has to eat, like we've seen that before in like the Shinkan Jewel, for example. Like there's just these things he has to acquire along the way, and that's what he's got to do.
Yeah. You're right. I guess
It's collecting as you go, right?
Exactly.
Tanjiro is essentially collecting different forms, different arts, like
Sure.
the different
Yeah.
elemental powers, right? Because
Yeah.
he was water at first. Now
For
he's
sure.
learning fire,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or sun or whatever, right? He's going to collect as he goes until he has enough of the powers
Yeah.
to take on the big bad guy. The same
Yeah.
way you expect Yuji
Exactly.
to acquire enough of the
it's
fingers
the Avatar,
Yeah.
right? Like,
to take him on.
but the other thing though, like what's really similar with Yuji in this one, is that it's like Naruto, right? You have your Jinchurikin. Like we haven't done this one yet. I know.
Listen. Full disclosure, Mike, he's gonna compare this to Naruto a lot.
Okay,
So
yeah, okay.
it's
Get ready for that.
Yeah, it's the exact same formula.
Okay.
It is the exact same formula. And to be honest, I used to get kind of tired of the shonen formula with the trio. And the fact that you brought
I'm there
up,
with you, dude. To be honest,
No,
with you.
shut the fuck up for a second.
already, Mikey got there after years.
Yeah. So, no, because here's the thing. I didn't make that connection with fucking Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Hogwarts is a fucking shonen, man.
Yeah,
like
probably.
that
Like
just
Harry
blew,
Potter, you
like
mean?
that-
Yeah.
Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter. That just blew my mind. It's
Yeah.
fucking Harry Potter,
Yeah.
Hermione, and whatever.
Ron.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah,
am
listen,
white.
for sure, the trio thing happens to line up there, but like,
Yeah.
a young boy's coming of age,
Yeah.
that is a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that predates
Yeah.
anime, predates,
Yeah.
Harry Potter,
Yeah.
predates
Yeah.
all. It's like a super, super old formula, right?
This one specifically links to Hogwarts because like there's an actual school they go to.
they learn magic.
And then also like the like
Sorcery.
and also like it serves as like the base for like all the sorcerer of the world to come back and like
Yes.
do their home base at, right? Like
Yeah,
But the
and
thing
they
for
have
me-
literally a tournament.
yeah.
as formulaic as it gets, and like I said, tale as old as time.
Yeah.
I'm just always interested to see how they're able to flip and twist that premise in interesting ways or
Yeah.
in subtle ways
I'll say
to still
this-
keep me interested, and the effectiveness of which that like they do that is
Yeah.
amazing to me,
Yeah.
because this is one that is so by the books. I happen to also be watching Bleach right now, which
Yeah.
for- Blech. Yeah, which for a lot of people who have watched that and watched this, how like just like Naruto, how unbelievably similar these shows are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm watching a show that is the progenitor of this, but this one still like
It's
kind of
special.
grabbed
There's
me
something about it.
more.
Oh yeah,
Almost.
man.
I haven't seen as many of it as you guys have, but I'll say of the few that I have seen, this one felt like top notch.
Yeah. Well,
You know
the
what I mean?
animation. Well, and the animation's like way better.
Yeah.
But the other thing that Jay and I were talking about before was the fact that shonen back in the day when I was growing up, right, was not nearly as violent. Right, where this one is way more action packed, way more violent. Like,
Well,
you have
I guess so. I mean, in the animation style, I'll agree with
Yeah.
you. But like as another example, like we're watching Dragon Ball Z right now, and there's like a lot of murder happening in Dragon Ball Z.
But it's not graphic.
but it's not. Yeah, it's not the same
You're right,
kind
it's
of
not graphic, but like
Yeah.
it's still the same. Like there's the same amount of people fighting and the same amount of people dying. There's just more blood in this, is what you're saying.
that's what we're.
Yeah.
That's literally what we're talking about.
Okay,
And I
so
think-
it's like more gore, not more violent, but more gory. maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, because I think a lot of the kids nowadays are already kind of desensitized to a lot of that stuff.
Sadly,
So,
yeah.
yeah, right. But
Yeah.
but that's the thing, right? And as an adult, though, like
Yeah.
that's the stuff I fiend.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like,
actually
that's-
we're getting ahead of ourselves because we haven't touched Dragon Ball Z yet, but I actually find Dragon Ball Z harder to watch than this shit because they're often like doing the murder like in front of a bunch of children or like a whole village is getting wiped out and you watch each one die one at a time. In this, it's like creatures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah. Well, I get. You know what? Funny. I thought you were gonna say I have a hard time because of like the animation style or the pacing in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, well,
No,
we'll
it
get
was-
to that in Dragon Ball Z episode, but today we're talking about this.
But there's also, I think, I don't know if it was prevalent in Japan, but in North America, you couldn't have in a kids show be super violent where you're chopping off arms, like Samurai Jack, for example.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've talked about that before. If not on pod, then off pod. The fact that he only kills robots.
Yeah, he only kills
Yeah.
robots. You can't have him kill actual people.
Yeah, and
right?
you can, but then you lose your rating, right? You go to PG, you go to PG-13, you go whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right, so-
but yeah, I mean, it was a great package of the same the same product.
Yeah.
A better package. There's some obvious things you're going to hear me harp on. Like there's a lot of random magic spells and curses and moves that they learn. And like at least most of them fit within the realm of explanation in this show, whereas they don't feel sometimes like plucked out of thin air. Does that make sense? But like, again, they're so random.
They are not random. Okay?
They're pretty random.
How are they random? Okay, first of all, he's like,
The one dude summons frogs. The other girl has a hammer and nails.
Yeah, no.
You see what I mean? It's kind of random.
No, it is
a little arbitrary.
No, it is not random. Okay, listen to me for a second. Yes, the frog thing, again, kind of like Naruto, but I digress.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Those are their conduits to
I understand, but each person's individual conduit seems disconnected from the next. They're only
In
connected
relation
under
to each other, it is a complete shit show.
That's
dude.
what I'm saying, right?
Like,
But
one's a panda.
Yeah.
Well, no. Okay,
I know, but I'm just saying there's that,
Yeah.
and then there's girl with hammer and nails.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then there's guy who summons animals from spirit realm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then there's guy who just fights with his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's girl who shoots gun.
There's
Like,
various ones.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. Each one is so like, and don't get me wrong, I love the variety there.
Yeah.
See, I
but
don't
it's-
love the variety.
But it's also kind of like you said, the fucking Wild West of powers.
They
Like,
can just do whatever they want. And what they do in this show is they throw tutorials at you on how they're doing their shit, which is a huge anime trope. I don't love it. I'd rather write that shit into the plot for me as opposed to in the middle of the battle, switch to like someone talking on a blackboard and explaining how a move's done and now we're back in the battle. Do you know what I mean? Not my favorite thing to see in this show. You can write those explanations into the plot.
It's cheeky, man. It's fun.
I guess so.
Honestly, I love that shit.
Yeah, I do too, man. I like it's just a nice like. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay,
To
now
me,
we're back.
it just feels like an
Yeah.
excuse to do whatever you want without having to cleverly write it into the plot of your show.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
think there's an example in this show that we'll get to when we talk about
Sure.
story that I think they do this differently than what you're saying. I think they do it much better. I think they do it right.
Sure.
And I'll remember when we get to that point.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really great way of doing some exposition.
Okay.
But in a fun, interesting way that actually was maybe a highlight scene of the whole season.
Okay, cool.
But
I
we'll
look
get-
forward to seeing what that is.
We'll get to that.
All right, no.
Hold on.
Let
Keep
me finish
watching.
my thought. Okay, because I gotta bring it back. So,
Okay.
so I understand that you guys don't like the variety, or like you like the variety.
Oh, I like it all, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to rationalize the fact that he thinks it's a shit show
Yeah.
with powers because
It
they
is.
are so
Yeah.
different. There's nothing really in line amongst any of them.
Okay, so if we're gonna go Hogwarts here, like yeah, sure, they're all wizards and they have fucking wands and
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But here you can be an individual. Right,
Yeah,
so
I understand
like,
that. I understand what you're saying.
If we were to realistically all go and not do the wand thing, am I going to want to have the same powers as you?
Well, in Hogwarts,
Like-
you can specialize in potions, or you can specialize in
No,
wild
no,
magical beasts, or you can
that's
specialize
different.
in.
Yeah, but
You can be an
different
individual
sections.
there too, man.
But you're still using a wand to express your
Well,
magic.
and in this, you're just
Yeah.
using cursed energy, right? It's
Yeah.
just that the framework of each individual person's powers is so wide and spread out. Whereas in other shows that I appreciate, it's leaner, it's a bit tighter. It exists more in a place that's like closer together.
Here's a question for you.
You're too simple-minded, man.
There was
I'm too sophisticated. Is what
there
you
was
mean.
something that actually there's a bit of exposition in this show that I thought you might like, Jordy, where they're actually explaining that cursed energy is electricity and cursed techniques are the appliances under which you use cursed energy, because electricity is very hard to use on its own.
Yeah.
But if you plug it in to an
Yeah.
appliance, then
Yeah.
you can do things with said appliance, right?
I can't believe I'm bringing this show up again, but they did a good explanation in Soul Eater as well too when they talk about the guitar, and then you plug it into the amp.
And this is why I knew you would like that reference, because
Yeah.
you brought it up on this fucking podcast
Yeah.
before in relation to something that you did like.
I understand that. I do understand that. It's just that visually, for me, the variety becomes clunky. For me,
No, man.
I like it to be cleaner and leaner. We're allowed to like different things, dude.
No, you're not.
Here's what I'll tell you. One thing I did like is they didn't just like throw the kitchen sink at me.
Yeah.
Because an example that I'll pull out right away is like everyone's talking to each other on cell phones. Another show that's less clever than this one, more so, would have just given everyone telepathy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they didn't just go so deep where they're just like, whatever we want. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It still seems a bit clunky to me, but like they didn't just throw out everything at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
See, for somebody who suspends their disbelief for fucking Kill la Kill And
We've
can't
been over
do-
this,
we
dude,
can't
already,
do it
though.
for
We've been over this, man.
This show takes itself
zero seriously.
Yeah, this show takes itself way more seriously than that, right?
Yeah.
And no, but you know what? Listen, growly, man.
He's fired up today, man.
I love this show.
Yeah.
So do I, but I totally expected that something that Jordy was maybe going to get caught up on, the fact that this show really loves to jump back and forth.
Yeah.
Vibe-wise.
Yeah.
You can get very dark, scary, almost disturbing moments in this show, followed by like cute chibi versions of the characters of them fucking floating through the air with like hearts around their eyes and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like they really will flip the switch on you, which Mikey, you and I are used to because we've watched so many shows that do this. Like I said, Bleach, blech, loves to do that. You know what I mean? Naruto loves to do that. Those shows, that's their bread and butter. And this is, again, like Demon Slayer, a love letter to those old school shows. And I knew you were going to get fucking tripped up on the back and forth silliness.
That's another note I had, is that like the first half of the show I was really hyped on.
Yeah.
It just really lost me the second half. It just
really?
A lot. It just took me out of what they got me hyped on. They get you hyped on this situation that's occurring, and I'm excited to see it unfold, and then they just remove you from it for the whole rest of the season.
Dude, I mean, there's only really 2 points in that season where they remove you, like the baseball game and the fucking.
I disagree, but we'll get to that when we get to plot.
Okay. So here's the other thing.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. For somebody like, we haven't covered it yet, but like when we did, or when we talked about Full Metal Alchemist, it has chibi moments in there that bring you out.
I'm not talking about chibi moments. I'm talking about entire arcs in a season, like entire 6 straight episodes where I'm just like, just get me back, please. Just bring me back.
He's talking about the fact that they abandon the storyline of finding Sukuna's fingers and throw you into the tournament in the forest.
That's a big one, for sure.
For the whole latter half of the show,
Yeah.
the actual overarching plot just stalls while they fight in the forest for a few episodes.
But
it's character building.
development, yeah.
That's the whole point of that, and I get that, but it does throw a wrench in the momentum of the show, I think.
Agreed.
I disagree with both of you.
Okay.
And we're allowed to disagree, as we've learned after how many episodes now? Yeah.
You guys are, but it's a little harder when me and Mikey disagree. Okay?
But you're
It's
allowed to
true.
too. We'll get there. You guys just haven't disagreed for 15 straight episodes yet.
I know. It's just-
I have that experience now, right?
I feel severely and deeply hurt. It
hurts.
by
It
Jay
hurts
right
more when it
now.
happens.
Yeah. You guys are gonna have to have a big hug after this.
Yeah, I don't care about.
Let's cool things down maybe and have Jay give us some history if you've got that loaded up for us.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too much to talk about here. A lot of this about the manga, which is also a massive hit, just like the show. So Jujutsu Kaisen is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by apologies for the pronunciation on this, Gigi Akutami, or Gigi, I don't know, I think it's Gigi. Anyways, serialized in Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump. The familiar
I've heard that term before.
Shonen Jump, yes. Since March 2018, the Jujutsu Kaisen chapters are collected and published by Shueisha, with 18 tankobon volumes released as of December 2021. The story follows high school student Yuji Itadori as he joins a secret organization of Jujutsu sorcerers in order to kill a powerful curse named Ryomen Sukuna, of whom Yuji becomes the host. Jujutsu Kaisen is a sequel to Akutami's Tokyo Metropolitan Curse Technical School, serialized in Shueisha's Jump, Giga, from April to July 2017, later collected in a tankobon volume as Jujutsu Kaisen 0 in December 2018, which we are going to see on the big screen very soon.
It'll be the first big screen in like many years for me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's anime.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen anime in theaters?
No, actually.
Cool.
I did see all online
so
this
nice.
week that they've been like throwing up like billboards in Times Square, like in the crazy huge billboards all over. It's kind of cool.
It's massive. It's
a big deal.
So, a 24-episode anime television series adaptation by Studio Mappa of Attack on Titan season 4 fame.
Just one season they got.
Yeah, but they got handed the biggest season in the last 10 years of anime.
Yeah.
With all the pressure in the world.
Sure, yeah.
And they're
Fair
fucking
enough.
killing it. So
Fair enough.
shout out Mappa.
Mappa kills anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just slays it.
So it aired on MBS from October 2020 to March 2021. It's licensed by Crunchyroll for streaming outside of Asia. Premiered the English dub in November 2020. The original soundtrack of the anime was released in April 2021.
Can I hold you for a second real quick? I tried to watch the dub for like 30 seconds to try and multitask. I couldn't do it.
Good.
It was really bad.
Nice.
It was really bad.
That makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, like I was doing something else. I was like, I'll just switch to the dub for this episode. 30 seconds in, I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. Okay, so go ahead.
No worries.
We got him.
Hey,
Hey,
my
it's
claws,
title by title. But
no. My claws are slowly. First, they were like prickly paws. They're just prickling you, and
Okay.
now they're just slowly.
he is growling, and now he's clawing into you.
Yeah.
The tiger.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Yeah,
The tiger flew.
Something's
I'm
happening.
fucking panda.
You swallowed a bunch of fingers, and now you got cursed energy.
Oh man. Okay, so fuck. What was you screwed me up. By the way,
Yeah.
always interrupt me to tell me how bad a dub is.
Oh,
Never feel sorry for
Oh
that.
yeah, I had
okay?
to on this one because like usually it doesn't bother me. This one like literally 30 seconds of it, and I couldn't do it.
That's amazing.
It was awful.
I love that.
It was awful.
So a second season is confirmed to premiere in 2023. So we have a little bit to wait, unfortunately, on the next season. But
Yeah.
hopefully the movie will tide everybody over.
Sweet.
So just a little fact about the manga. As of December 2021, the Jujutsu Kaisen manga had over 60 million copies in circulation, including related novels, digital versions, and Jujutsu Kaisen 0, making it one of the best-selling manga series of all time. So,
Fucking right.
right up there.
Yeah.
One
Well
of the
done.
one of the greats, one of the heavy hitters.
Nice.
Also, let's just say, like, if you didn't feel anything in your loins when you saw Gojo take off his mask and his beautiful blue eyes,
If you didn't suddenly question
yeah.
everything you
Yeah.
thought was right
Yeah.
or wrong, that
that was like my first moment of like,
was an awakening.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, am I?
In love with this character,
He's pretty.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I was like, this is
Yeah.
intense, man.
He's pretty.
mask
Yeah.
comes off and you're like, oh, he's a cutie. Okay.
Yeah. It's like Inosuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
Inosuke
Yeah.
is very pretty.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
this one was a little more predictable.
Yeah.
Sure.
That he'd be not, Inosuke, I was definitely
You
expecting
can still
something.
yeah. Well, for Gojo, you can see 70% of his head already.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, let's talk about the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. It's Japan with curses.
Yep.
I will say that the curse energy, the whole curse element was again a nice package for this same thing we've seen a million times before. I like that they introduced this like pocket dimension thing where everyone has domains. I think that's something to talk about as far as the world goes. 'cause
love that.
Yeah,
each
they're
person-
like almost like each mini worlds.
Yeah, each person who uses cursed energy or like I don't know the terminology of all the different things they do. But
We'll help you.
it seems like all the people who used cursed energy, whether they be curses or sorcerers,
Yeah.
can create a domain or have a domain automatically, and they can form it in certain
When they
ways.
reach a certain level.
yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah.
have to reach a certain level because some of them haven't acquired that, and some of them don't have completed domains. And
Okay,
in fact, when you have two domain expansions happening simultaneously, the one that wins is the one that's better developed.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Right. So like Gojo is just so OP, he can use it as many times as he wants.
His was the best one too by far.
Yeah, but like someone like the names, the dude that brings out all the animals,
Fushiguro.
Fushiguro, yeah.
Fushiguro.
I'm senpai.
you have those moments.
Every time I remember something that you forget,
But
I
like
say that.
I didn't forget.
He only had a
it so
partial domain near to the end,
I
right?
don't remember that. I believe you. I just don't
Yeah.
remember. A lot was going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. I will say again, the pocket dimension, the domains, there was like an abrupt tutorial break in the middle of a fight to explain that to me. But it's the way that the show did it.
Yeah, but like, okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying if they presented it in a way that you were put into a classroom beforehand to learn all that,
No, I'd
instead
prefer an afterward maybe like Yuji goes, "What the fuck was that?" And he goes, "Oh, well, let me explain it to you." As opposed to in the middle of the fight, you know what I mean? They make a makeup scene where he's like, anyways, this is my opinion.
Okay,
It's my
okay,
opinion. You know what
yeah,
I mean? I don't have much else to say about the world, to be honest with you. It was more of it is about art, I'd say, this world, right? Because as far as the world, it's Japan with curses.
yeah, it's Japan, and it's Japan with the folklore and the
True.
and all that kind of ingrained into it, right?
yeah.
Because that's what they're pulling from.
Yeah, and the jiu-jitsu school is also probably part of the world, and that was really cool. Like the way it looked from the outside was kind of neat. It was like kind of like Japanese Hogwarts. Just saying is all. Okay, so but the art, on the other hand, is fucking like unparalleled. Honestly, I had a hard time thinking of a show I've ever watched with better fight scenes. They might be the best fight scenes I've
Hell
ever
yeah,
seen.
I totally agree.
I would
Unbelievable.
say like it definitely up there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was struck by it every time, even when I was like not really feeling the matchup, or like if it was like in part of the show that was losing me. As soon as a fight scene would start, I was like, oh hell yeah, give me more of this. You know what I mean? And the animation on the cursed energy, like the blue flames around his hand.
Yeah, or when he does the black, when like
the black flash or
Flash,
whatever.
yeah.
It was a cool contrast to this like super clean kind of like modern animation style. It was similar. It reminded me to like when Demon Slayer shows the water and it's kind of 2D-ish almost for a second. This one had the same kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
So I dug that. I thought that was cool. I will say, you guys mentioned those little chibi 2D tropey kind of like act outs. Those didn't bother me that much on this, to be honest with you. And I think it's probably because of Zenitsu being such a fucking asshole who I hate so much that when they use it sparingly in a show like this, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can deal with that.
Yeah,
I can handle that.
You know, it's so funny because we're talking about that meme of like how much anime bullshit can you tolerate?
Yeah.
Your tolerance level is starting to go up.
100%. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to take a tolerance break so I can start hating on it again.
No, that is not why we're doing this podcast. Because by the end of us actually finishing up, like whenever we just do decide to stop this podcast, like
never.
I know never.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be a full blown weeb.
Yeah. Then we'll have to stop the podcast.
That's inevitable.
Yeah.
Because our concept's gone.
And now we're just gonna do bullshit.
Yeah. Fair enough. I have more to say about art, but I'm going to save it for characters because it is in direct regard to character design, which is kind of like character art crossover.
Sure,
Yeah.
we can get into that later.
We'll save it for that for characters. Let's talk about music for a second.
Okay.
The intro music is
Yes.
kind of like,
Do you like it?
I mean, it's not the worst one.
Oh man, it's grown on me a lot.
It's fine. It
I like
reminds
it a
me
lot.
of like shit I would have listened to in the early 2000s. It's kind of like got an emo math rock kind of vibe. Do you know what I
He
mean?
said like
Yeah.
Mars Volta.
Mars
Yeah,
Volta,
but
like
softer.
at the drive-in, but
Yeah,
softer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't like the intro, like the OP music as much, but
Wrong.
the fucking. What do you mean wrong? Wrong. No, okay, Shweebs. I guarantee Shweebs are going to. They're all going to fucking side with me. And
About what?
About the fucking ending music.
That music was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Dude.
It is the best.
Dude, it coupled with the animation over the ending scene, I was like, what is happening?
It was.
Who's got this?
I loved it. I was so
I like
addicted.
both.
It was so addicted. Every time I watched an episode while it was airing,
Yeah.
I could never skip the end credits.
I skip
because
it every time.
no,
It's just so...
no, listen to me, you fucking uncultured swine.
Bro.
It's so funky, and there's such a cool
You love
contrast.
your funk.
and I do love my funk, but like it's just so like upbeat, and like the animation style being
Yeah.
very painted, and it just kind of after watching some heavy parts in that show, just kind of like gives you a palate cleanser.
I don't want a palate cleanser, dude. I want a palate cleanser like at the end of the night before I go to bed. I don't want a palate cleanser in between each 20-minute burst of a really intense show. It's the same reason why I prefer to binge watch instead of watch one episode a week.
Yeah.
I want to get deep into a story. I want to be in that world.
Get
I
immersed.
don't want to get pulled out of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the night before going to bed, I might watch something fun. Just so I can like read.
Episode of Dragon Maid or something. You know?
Yeah.
I
See,
mean,
this is-
something like that, maybe.
Oh my
Something
god!
like
Wait
that.
until we make you watch a harem.
You've been talking about that for a long
Yeah,
time.
we're
Bring it on,
gonna
buddy.
do it. We're gonna do
Bring
it.
it on.
We're gonna do it.
Anyways, you said the word contrast when you talked about it, and to me,
Yeah.
the contrast didn't hit. For you, it worked, right?
Yeah, but
For me,
okay,
it felt so out of place. And I'm learning.
Yeah.
Sorry, one second. I'm learning that that's normal. Like a closing theme that doesn't suit the show is very normal in anime.
yes,
Right?
Yes,
That's a thing?
very, very normal.
They like to throw a little curveball sometimes.
They
at
also
you.
like to
this.
throw you a new theme music halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Like that always happens.
which sometimes is a hit or miss too.
This one was like
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
same early
same.
2000s kind of post-hardcore vibe,
But-
which is like was my vibe in the early 2000s.
Yeah, back in the day. But
Yeah.
this is the thing. I've said this before. I'm pretty sure on this podcast where we're in such a world where we're just so used to binging everything.
Yeah.
And when we're binging things and we're consuming, we're not digesting. right? So like when you're watching it being aired week after week, you know, you have time to digest it, because especially if a show ends on like either a cliffhanger or like a really intense moment, like, and it leaves you wanting more. Like, what the fuck? Like, that 20 minutes felt like 5 minutes. Like, this is stupid. Like, I need more.
Yeah.
Like, I love that feeling.
Here's my rebuttal to that. When I watch TV, I don't watch it because I want something to like really digest each piece out of. What I want is a show that's going to last with me when it's finished. You know what I mean? So like, for example, like I want a show that when it's done and I've watched the whole show, for the next week, I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If each episode needs me to digest it in order for me to get to the next one, then I feel like you're not working that hard.
Yeah, but you can have both. You can still have both. Like,
I guess so.
I watched this as it's airing, and I'm still talking about it now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
And to be fair, like this one has lived in my mind since I stopped watching it as well. So it did a good job at that.
Okay.
But for me, it's like the whole season combined that was effective in that way, not each individual episode. Because as I said, a lot of these episodes didn't do it for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. Yeah.
Okay, fine. The
Yeah.
next time you go fucking binge something, you might as well just take a whole bag of chips, binge it all while you're clicking on subscribe.
There it is.
You were sending it at me that time.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I'm going to subscribe. And eat chips, motherfucker.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Help us out. Comment. Hit that notification wherever you're getting your podcast. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Really helps us out.
It really helps. We love you, and we'll do this more if you do that more.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do this more anyways. But
Or you could just tell me that, like, when I do the subscribe thing,
that he
it's
sucks
really-
at it. Tell him he sucks at clicking the clicky thing.
No, it's your fault because you're talking half the time.
No. Okay, let's get into characters. I wanted to talk about this in regards to art.
Okay.
The character design is right up my alley, dude.
Hell yeah.
So, like, what I love about it is that the main character, first of all, nothing clowny about it. No clowns in this show whatsoever. Everything's low key, understated, clean. Everyone's kind of wearing small variations of the same kind of vibe, right? They've all kind of got blue suit, and like Yuji's got the red scarf. Do you know what I mean? Gojo's got the mask. They've all got little iterations on the same kind of vibe. It just really worked for me. It brought the cleanliness, the tightness of everything really brought it home.
Yeah.
I love that. Even the curses, the monstery ones specifically, all about that. The humanoid ones, not my favorite vibe.
Wait, what do you mean? Like so you like the monstery ones, but
Yeah.
you don't like the humanoid ones?
The humanoid ones make the monstery ones seem weird in comparison. Do you know what I mean?
Like when you say humany ones, like Mahito, like the patchwork one.
yeah, later on there's like a Chippendale dancer.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, with the thing on his back.
yeah, exactly. And again, like those
Okay,
ones,
yeah, yeah.
those ones feel like, okay, you just like, you designed a bad guy. You didn't make it a monster. There were some that looked like the guy with the tree guy.
Yeah.
That guy looked fucking sick. Kind of a human shape, but not like a legit human. Do you know what I'm saying?
See, that's what I
He's
think
not
of
human.
as
no. But the other
he's like
humanoid ones
yeah.
weren't either. They just looked
Technically,
like
right.
humans, right?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. When I think of humanoid monsters, that's what I'm thinking of.
I'd love it
a
if they looked
tree.
like that.
Right,
But some
like-
of them just like were humans with powers. They were no
Yeah.
different to me than sorcerers, just in different outfits. Those ones aren't my favorite, to be honest with you.
Well, what is it? Not Gojo's counterpart. What's his name with the stitches across?
Mahito.
Ghetto.
Isn't that Mahito?
No.
With the
No.
stitches?
No, Mahito's the other one that like turns.
Mahito's the patchwork one. We're talking about Getzo. He's the long
okay,
black
I know you're
hair.
talking- You only see him a little bit.
Little touches.
Yeah.
Little
He's like the
touches.
leader of the Curse Clan.
Well,
Yeah, but he's technically a jujutsu.
He's a human. Yeah, you see that because when he walks in the restaurant, they show he's with a bunch of curses.
people can see him.
People can see him. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, again, I would have preferred all the curses to look more cursy and none of them to look like full on human.
My favorite curses were were the ones that were like, I liked Volcano Head.
Yeah.
I liked the tree eyes.
Totally. Even like
you
the
know?
first episode, dude, where that thing comes out and it's like fucking shit up in the school.
Yeah.
That was blowing my mind. I was
That
like,
was really
if they all
cool.
look like this, I'm sold.
Yeah.
And a lot of them did.
A lot of them
did
did.
look like
But
that.
but don't you think the curses or the monsters that look like humans are probably the most scary?
They explain to you that they're the most powerful.
Yeah.
But to me, no, they're not the most scary. The most scary is the thing that I've never seen anything like it before, and it's got a giant gaping mouth with teeth in it, and I can't get out of its mouth.
Yeah, but that's
That's
thing.
the most scary to me.
because the ones that look like humans will eventually turn into that, or like can transform into that.
Yeah, but
or
I
do
would
you
say
think-
just leave them like that, and then they're already scary.
Hold on, real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
Like, how many of them are there that look like humans that you're saying that you don't
a
like?
handful. Not that many, to be honest with you. But to
There's
me,
the patchwork one.
yeah,
right?
the Chippendale one.
Who's the Chippendale
At the
one?
end, there's
At
a
the
Chippendale
end,
dancer with
with
a
the-
rotten back, and his back is attacking. His brother looks like a Slimer from the Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. But was that? Yeah, I don't know if like was that like just like a was that not a dark like Jujutsu sorcerer, like an evil Jujutsu sorcerer?
I don't fucking know,
maybe?
dude. I
Who's-
can't keep track. To
No,
be
no,
honest
no,
with you. That's
that
the other
was-
thing is like
That was that was
was straight up
monster.
he was a
curse?
curse.
Yeah, he was a
Oh,
curse.
Oh, and there was
Yeah.
a guy with a fucking there was another guy, random guy at one point when they were doing the fucking showdown, the sister school showdown, and they dropped that fucking shield or whatever over top. And fucking Dumbledore comes in to play the electric guitar, and he faces that fucking guy, dude.
I loved when he
I
pulled
hated
that-
it more than
when
anything
he-
in the whole show, dude.
No, when
I hated it.
When he pulled out that fucking guitar,
No.
I was like, okay, this guy was first a dick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fucking
And
weird.
now
but
he's a stupid looking dick.
but it is weird, but I dug it, man.
Come on, Jordy. How do you not like the
dug
guitar
it,
thing,
yeah.
dude? You came in wearing a Beck hoodie today.
I like Beck.
Yeah.
I just think that this was fucking stupid, to be honest with you. Sorry.
But and you always use that fucking analogy from Soul Eater.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I want to fucking hit to be his magical power, dude. Like, got a better power, dude.
Come on, man.
pretty
He's
on the
got a
nose.
fucking
Got a better
flying
power,
V
yeah.
and just like
I'm more a
crushing
fan
it.
of Yuji's power of just like the fist with the energy and the delayed reaction hit.
Mm-hmm.
That was hitting home to me. The like, I have a hammer and nails. The like, I have an electric guitar. Those kind of powers don't hit home for me.
Well, I mean,
They're
okay,
arbitrary.
Okay,
They're
so-
arbitrary.
So I will give you the hammer and nail thing is a little weird.
But the guitar not?
No, because it's a guitar and it's fucking cool.
Mikey justifications.
But
right.
but you also like what I really appreciate about this is
Yeah.
is that like a lot of the time in shonen when you have a trio, the girl is always kind of useless.
Yeah.
and she is not useless in this.
No.
Like she's one of the stronger
She's
characters. Like
none of those stronger characters. She's still less strong than any of the guys in the main team.
what?
She's less strong than both of them. Gojo, the fucking detective dude. Who's she stronger than, except for all the other losers they beat?
All those other losers.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so. She's
she's
on the elite team. I'll give you that, but she's
Yeah.
the weakest of the elite team still.
But she's still on the elite team.
Fair, but the one girl in the team always is. Right?
I'm
just saying. That's the case.
Anyway,
Okay, let's talk about.
Mikey
I
tries
don't-
to draw attention to something nice about this show, and Jordy's just like, no, fuck no, it's not enough.
The reason is because you're wrong. I would like there to be a powerful like female protagonist, but you didn't quite get it.
Well,
Almost.
what was
like
the other
good
girl?
intentions.
well, the sisters. What were their names?
May,
I don't remember. They were
May
forgettable
and
for me,
Maki.
to be honest with you.
Is Maki the one that can't use?
Maki's the good one.
Yeah,
May's
Maki-
on the bad team.
Yeah, Maki's waifu, but Maki.
Yes, forgettable for me. Yeah.
No, she's so fuck. Okay, so she's part of a family.
Yeah.
That she's like, fuck you guys. I'm
Yeah.
going to be a sorcerer.
Yeah.
But even though I can't use cursed energy, so she has to wear glasses and use cursed weapons.
Yeah.
And so she's just like wickedly powerful.
It's a cool concept. It's just like that was nestled in the part of the show that wasn't doing it for me. So it's kind of a shame.
You know what though? It's also kind of like a callback. It's a bit of a trope. There's been a lot of characters that are kind of come in with almost like this handicap compared to all the rest of them.
Sure.
Rock Lee comes to mind as far as Naruto because his ninja jutsu wasn't magic based like everybody else. His
Yeah.
was just hand to hand combat.
Yeah,
Sure.
taijutsu.
He just had to learn just to fight people straight up with his fists, right?
Even the butterfly chick from Demon Slayer who you said you liked.
Yeah.
Right? She can't kill people with her hand. She's not strong enough, so she has to use poison on the tip
That's
of her
right.
blade.
Like,
right?
so
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
come in with like a handicap, and then like that's kind of their like quirky kind of thing. And
Yeah.
for anybody who's watched Fire Force, you know about the captain of
Yeah.
the eighth, of the
The
eighth,
eighth-
right? There, he's
You were about to
he's-
say 8th MS.
I was Gundam on the mind, but yeah, his kind of quirk about his character is that he isn't magic like
Sure.
everybody else,
Yeah.
and he has to find other ways to be
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And
So
he's a
I'm
fucking
glad
tank.
I'm glad they have that in this show.
Sure.
they don't spend I wouldn't say they spend too much time on it. I thought they gave just enough time to the Mei and Maki, their little relationship with each other.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of character building with them. You learn how their dynamic fits in with their teams.
Yeah.
That was just enough for me. I feel like if they had kept going with those two sisters,
it would have been too much.
Or focusing in on too many of the other side stories.
Well, and you'll get more about them because you know the like village or the like whatever they come from, like the culture they come from. Fushiguro comes from there as well too. We learn, right?
Yeah.
And like it seems like they're building that up to be an important element. You'll probably get more of it in the next couple seasons.
Yeah.
Again, it was just a shame that like they like had to take a break from the plot to give me all this character development for all these characters I literally hadn't even met yet.
I know.
So there was like a whole section of the show where I was like, I don't care about any of this.
I know.
So, anyways, that it's sad that fell in there.
But that's the thing. Like you're only basing it off this one season. Where like if you look at the archetypes, like again, we're gonna go back to Naruto, right? Like Sasuke.
Yeah. He did say you were gonna do that a lot,
right? Like you know, Fushiguro is Sasuke, where he has this family background and he has to be this kind of like black sheep of it all, right?
Yeah. And I liked him. He was a great character, to be honest.
I love those characters, right?
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Let's talk about some other characters I liked. First of all, let's talk about motherfucking Panda Maju.
Panda.
Panda.
Panda Maju, my bro.
And then
He came back.
Okay, here's a funny. Check this out. So, so I read up somewhere. I watched something where it's like, apparently, the animators really liked Kung Fu Panda.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, so some of the moves that he uses in this are
God.
Kung Fu Panda moves. Like hitting
That's
one with
fucking hilarious.
the butt.
Yeah. That is hilarious, actually, dude. I will say, like, I kept wondering, like, why is a fucking panda talking and nobody's drawing attention to it? No one's mentioning it at all. He's just, like, part of the team. And then, like, you turned out he's, like, a fabricated curse. Like, the one dude made him. And then you find out he's actually, like, three curses in one. He's a panda, a gorilla, and then something else that you never get to see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't see it at this point.
And also, when you learn that, you also realize that the fucking robot is actually being remote piloted by a mummy.
In a bathtub.
In a bathtub, yeah. So again, I'll be honest with you.
No, but so he's got that same like handicap, right? Like where
Mekamaru.
He
AKA the pitching machine in the baseball game. That was his best scene by far.
But he's got so much cursed energy that his body can't handle it, so
Yeah.
that he uses a puppet.
Yeah.
Right. So that's his handicap. Like he can't be there in real life. Right.
It just both those characters, as much as like I wanted to like Panda Maju, he just like all of this just added to the heaps of the piles of magic shit. Do you know what I mean?
But
It just
I
was
love Panda Maju, especially when he goes into gorilla mode.
visually
That's the point
sure.
of the character.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in there to make everybody just go, what the fuck?
Yeah. There just
What?
was already a lot of that from my perspective.
Right. But like some people are just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Like
some
give me more of that what the fuck energy.
Some people.
And it exhausts you.
Some people.
Which is so funny because now that I think about it, I'm like, when I first saw Panda Maju, I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
We're unfazed. We're unfazed. You know what though? When I was, it's funny when you were saying how like when they're trying to introduce you to all these secondary characters, you're just like you have no idea who they are. Same, right?
Yeah.
When that tournament rolls up and they roll in and they're like, all right, here's the school they're going to be facing. I literally at home, I'm just like, all right, here we go. Like, let's see if they can convince me that any of these characters are worth giving a shit about.
Exact thought I had.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
exact, yeah.
And then I sat there and I'm like, I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I watched it and it was good.
I guess, sadly, like I didn't give as much of an effort as you did in order to let them do what they were trying to do. The fact that I could see what they were doing turned me off right away.
Okay.
And then it was hard for me to like. Let
I'm
them,
used to it. I, like you feel maybe a little betrayed.
Yeah,
in
I was
that
annoyed.
moment.
I was like, come
Whereas
on.
I'm just like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah.
Because this always
Yeah, it
happens
happens.
to us.
Yeah, it's
every
true.
time.
Yeah.
Naruto had all the rest of the other ninja students that he was with.
Yeah.
You know, like. But the highlight for me of those new characters being introduced, the character that I want to bring up, is our guy Toto.
He's the rice ball guy.
He's the big dude.
Oh, the big dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah,
big
yeah,
muscle
yeah,
tip.
yeah.
What kind of woman are you
like?
into?
Yeah,
What's
dude.
your ideal? What's your ideal type?
He basically was
My
like
best friend.
He basically is like, if you're not a freak, you're a lesser human being, which basically is him saying like, I'm a fucking freak, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's trying to say.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, literally. But I loved I loved how like they start you off on this really awkward footing with him with his interaction with Fushiguro and Kugisaki, but then
he becomes Yuji's best friend,
like
or he thinks so.
The way that they become best friends though, and how like by the end of that battle, like Yuji can't really deny.
Yeah.
I think he even mentions, he's just like, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
I think Yuji actually calls him best friend by the end of that fight.
Well, that's because Yuji's just a fucking bro, dude.
Yuji's just a likable guy.
He's like,
But
whatever
he's
you
that
need,
same
I'm gonna help
archetype.
facilitate that for you. Always. That's his goal from day one.
Which is the Naruto thing, right? That archetype. But what's crazy too is that you would think, you know, they're in the middle of a battle, but as soon as he becomes best friends, like, okay, now I'm gonna train you during this battle.
Yeah, not only just train you, but I'm gonna teach you like the most important move you can learn, the Black Flash, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of annoying to me because I was like, you don't know that move. You can't do that move.
Who?
The fucking Toto. He can't do it.
Well, how do you know?
He might know how it's done.
I guess so, but how does
He's
explain?
probably tried.
I guess so. It just seemed really strange that like a guy who's like not that much of a higher level than Yuji is just like, oh, you just do this and this, and then you can do it. And Yuji's like, yeah, first try, bam, pulls it off.
Now he's much higher level. Like, I mean,
Is he though?
just happens to be like a third year student, I think. I can't remember.
I don't know what year he's in.
Me neither. That was
anyway,
confusing. by
Second
the
or
way.
third.
Yeah.
that
was confusing.
That confused you.
Yeah.
The levels and the levels of curses. And
Very confusing. Again, the whole power level thing is brand new to me as of Dragon Ball Z.
right.
And like actually like giving numbers to it.
Power scaling.
Yeah, at least this one is like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not like, no, we have a level 3,462 coming up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What the fuck does that mean?
But I mean,
It's nothing to me.
It is
Yeah.
nice to have a metric to like lean on when you're trying to scale out people.
True.
Right. So that like, okay, yeah, like I'm about to go fight this guy that's way out of my league, and sometimes people
By
don't
how
know-
much?
By how much?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it
you're
was
like,
it was
oh,
fine to have a
fuck.
metric. It just also was another one of those things that was explained to me through a legitimate like tutorial break, and that's kind of annoying to me. I was like, you know what I mean, like. Write that into your plot. Okay. You're better than that. Mikey's like, okay. There's a lot of other characters to talk about.
Wait, here. I'll give you a fun little tidbit though about
okay, sure.
Panda Maju.
Okay, sure.
So
I like how he's just Panda Maju now.
yeah, just because it's like it's stuck from the Inuyasha episode.
I love it.
But because we haven't done it yet, I know that we got a buddy who wants us to do this. Fist of the North Star.
Oh, yeah.
Because Fist of the North Star had influenced so much in anime.
Okay.
Right, like Toriko or even Gojo. But this guy, essentially, he has this one move where he's just punching. He goes, yeah.
Sorry, he's like, what?
One more time.
What does this have to do with Panda Maju?
No, it was an homage. There was a one point where he's fighting the robot
The robot dude? Yeah.
and he's doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Can I just say that I appreciate that you also forget the names and you have to make up names too? It makes me feel way less stupid.
I did that earlier. I said Volcano Head and Tree Eyes.
Yeah. You got to sometimes. There's so many names. There's so many
It's so
characters.
true.
I have like a list of characters here we didn't get into. We can skip most of them, but let's talk about Gojo.
Gojo.
He's my favorite character in the whole show.
I think he's supposed to be.
He's so funny, dude.
I know.
The first time you meet him, he flies in and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm the strongest."
Yep.
That's literally what he says. Yep. This is the best, dude.
But he says it with such assurance that like
Yeah.
you believe him.
Yeah.
You don't question it. You're just like, oh, we're good.
And then he delivers one after another. He just keeps delivering.
And
He's the
not
best.
only that, his notoriety, the way other people speak of him.
Yeah.
When Volcano Head's sitting down
They're all
with
scared of him.
Geto at
Yeah.
the table, and he's just
Yeah.
like, the guy's just like, ha, so I'll just have to do this, and then I'll kill Gojo.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And then Geto's just like, oh yeah, you could try to do that. Problem is, you would die.
Yeah. Another thing I like about him is he's planning a coup, like he's planning a revolution, which makes him even more of a likable character for me because he's like going against like the elder like statesman of the jujitsu school.
Fuck
right?
the bourgeoisie.
Yeah, he's like Dumbledore's a piece of shit, and I'm gonna fuck his shit up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is with Gojo is not only is he planning a coup, but he's trying to do it in a way where nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, but he's also not quiet about it. Like he's literally like he treats the old man like an old fucking man. Do you know what I mean? He's like talking down to him all the time, and people are constantly like, "You can't talk to him that way." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll be fine." Yeah,
I'm the strongest.
yeah. Don't worry, I'm the strongest.
I'm
doing the best at this.
Yeah. And then there's actually, what is the point where Yuji and him are walking together and they're just like, so like, like you versus like a fully powered Ryomen Sukuna, like the king of curses, who would win? And Gojo's just like, it'd be me. No further explanation. He just has to think for a second. He's just like, I would win.
Yeah, I would win.
Yeah, he's the best. There's not many other characters I feel like we need to spend much time on, unless you guys have any like secret loves that you want to touch on.
Oh, Salaryman.
Salaryman, good pick.
Salaryman is so funny, dude.
Up there on the.
I don't know who that is.
What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know Salaryman. The one that's like we. Oh man, I
couldn't think of that guy's name.
Go to overtime. Like, I'm only on the clock for like.
Yeah, he's like a classic, like, he's a cop, essentially. He's a detective.
Nanami is his name.
Nanami.
Okay, I kept forgetting his name.
Yeah.
He was fine. You liked him a lot?
Yeah, I thought he was a nice juxtaposition of like all the other characters.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's just so kind of like monotone. And,
to me, he kind of felt like a Gojo light. Like,
well, balance to Gojo.
But the purpose
is the opposite.
Yeah, I guess that's true. The purpose he served in hanging out with Yuji that one day when they did that one mission together, that could have been Gojo for me. Is all I care. You didn't have to give me another character for that.
So what, like off screen, like Jay and I were talking, Gojo and Salaryman are like if you took Kakashi Sensei and you split them in two.
That's Naruto, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, they're
noted.
Right, like where you got this.
Write that down. Yeah.
Well, we gotta do a Naruto episode now, just so that you get all my fucking references.
Okay.
Right. Like,
But for the people who do know, tell them.
I know, right? Like it's like you get all the fun, like the cool calmliness of Kakashi Sensei, where he's like a bit more serious, and then when he's not serious and he's just joking around and like sticking fingers up people's butts.
Sorry, what? I don't want to do Naruto episode anymore.
No, but it feels like I've seen those two characters, Gojo and Salaryman, combined into one character so many times.
Yeah.
This one, they like split them. So you'd end up with these extremes. Salaryman's by the books. He worries about going into overtime on his work. He's like, I've got to fucking hit my deadlines. Gojo's like going off on vacations in the middle of like really important shit. He's just gone for a while. Doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
He's fly by the seat of his pants. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, so they're maybe two halves of the same whole, maybe is how you're thinking about it. But
I see what you're saying.
I see them as balances to each other.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Also balances in that Gojo's super powerful and Salaryman is relatively not, because he can't do domain expansion.
His move, when you meet him, he seems super powerful because he can do this move with his sword where he's like, my sword's not even that sharp.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the rule of thirds or whatever.
And that's the first time you see someone using like a super strong power move like that in the show. And so you feel like he's super powerful, right? Like they play him off as if he is, but yeah, I guess probably he's not. And he also doesn't teach at the school anymore. Is that true? Right? Like he's just like one of those sorcerers who's kind of off doing work.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me. Okay, let's get into the plot.
Okay.
So the way I figure this plot plays out is there's like three main arcs, basically, right? There's like a setup arc where they like basically explain to you the world. Then there's like the Juniper arc, which was like a big part in the middle that was like
Junpei.
Oh, is that what? Well, in the
Juniper, like
in the
subtitles, like the berries.
In the subtitles, it says Juniper.
Does it?
No, I don't know. I might be thinking that.
Junpei. It's Junpei.
This is your fucking multitasking, note-making bullshit.
Yeah, this is watching it on a screen this fucking big.
It is literally. It's like this screen, but like also right here. It's and then the other one is the Sister School Showdown arc. Yes. That's pretty much how this plays out. So I think we've covered most of like the setup arc already. You know what I mean? Like we know that they're in high school. We know that they Yuji finds that cursed finger in the field, and then Fushiguro shows up, and they meet and they talk, and he explains like how the curses work or whatever, and he basically explains like, oh, there's this like paper or whatever wrapped around it that's protecting it, don't unwrap that. And he's like, my friends are doing that right now, and they got to run the fuck back. And like crazy, right? And they get back there, and that's when we see the first curse, which is like super badass. It's this big bulbous monster. And here's something I'll bring up that kind of bothered me, is that like that curse almost killed Fushiguro. But like that is like a disparaging like levels of power, because is that like a special grade curse even? That's just a regular old curse.
That was
how did that one almost get him?
Well, I also think that like when Fushiguro probably wasn't expecting to protect people, he was just going to go and kill this curse, and not to mention that he figured, hey, like I'm going to go.
But it's not like he wasn't trying his hardest.
No, but at the same time, it's the first time you're seeing everything, right? You need to have.
I know, but that annoys me because
he's still young. He might be powerful, but he's still young, and he's still capable of being careless, making mistakes.
I guess that's
even
true.
a super powerful sorcerer, if they're being really careless against a low-level curse, could probably get taken out.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it just showed maybe in that moment a little bit of his rookie status still.
All right, fair enough.
He's I think he's only a first year, second year.
Yeah,
First
it's
year,
just that later on he acts much less like a rookie and he's killing it, but he hasn't like done
That's his
much more
personality.
training.
Yeah.
He thinks he's that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why he keeps reflecting on that moment even. He brings it up to Yuji a few times.
Yeah, that's true.
Being like you saved me in that
He says it to
moment.
other people
He gets
too.
hung up on it.
Yeah, he does. You're right, actually.
You know, so
Yeah.
I think it kind of makes it makes sense with his. It doesn't make sense that happened.
Yeah.
To that
But
character.
what's funny, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, he also saved Yuji in that moment. Like, didn't he like push him out of the way, and that's why he almost got eaten, and that's why.
That's what Yuji did to him. I think.
Yeah,
I thought they both did it, but yeah.
No, so
maybe not.
Yuji pushed him out of the way, and then Yuji gets all caught up, and then he fucking
Throws the finger and eats it.
and eats it.
Yeah,
right?
which is disgusting.
But I have like my suspicions where I feel like Yuji, because he was so physically strong, right? And like it was.
But wasn't he only physically strong because he had the finger in his hand?
No.
didn't they explain?
Like
Oh, okay.
he with sports and all that kind of stuff. Like he was so physically strong, like abnormally strong and like abnormally athletic.
Oh, right. He throws a shot put or something.
Yeah, and shit like that. But
Yeah.
I really feel like he probably has some bloodline that's just hasn't been explained yet.
Sure. Okay. All
Right,
right.
so
He even mentions like all the fights he's ever been in his life, he just
Yeah.
like fucking cleaned up in them.
yeah.
That's why like when he actually enters the scene, that's a really great slow motion like drop kick through the glass that he comes through.
Oh yeah.
It's a fucking I love that
I do
shot.
remember that. I forgot for a second that.
Yeah.
So long ago.
He just comes flying through the glass, and I'm just like, holy shit, this guy's the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Because he grabs the under lip of the fucking window, does an underside flip upside down,
Yeah.
and he just like, I'm like,
Just a
oh my
regular dude
God.
in high school, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay.
And not only do we, but also all the students around know nothing about curses yet. No one knows anything.
No.
This regular dude just flies out of a window.
Yeah. And what's funny too is like he doesn't really care about sports and stuff. Like he's like, I just want to be a nerd.
Yeah.
He's into the supernatural club.
Yeah.
That's his interest.
Yeah. It seemed actually to me like he only joined that because like you gotta. You know what I mean? Like it seemed to me like he's like, you gotta join something. So I'll just join this one.
Yeah, that whole reluctant join a
Yeah,
club
we've seen that
thing.
before. Because
Yeah.
I guess also in Japanese culture, like you have to join a club. That seems to come up in anime a lot too, right?
In anime, I don't know what it's like in IRL though.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
It's not IRL. There's not curses in real life.
Yeah, there is.
No one's eating real fingers like human fingers in real life.
Actually, there probably are. I'm not gonna eat your fucking penis. It's dirty.
Save that for the OnlyFans.
Yeah. Okay. So
OnlyFans, animation anime OnlyFans.
there you go. Okay, so they beat the first curse. You know what I mean? And what was cool about that scene too is like his friends are getting like kind of fucked up and they're scared, right? And they're bleeding and they're getting attacked. That's where you first get introduced to how like violent and gory the show's going to be. Then Gojo shows up. Don't worry, I'm the strongest. And he explains that there's 20 of these fingers and we got to find them all. And I guess if you can hold one, you could probably hold more. And they say to him, they're like, technically, we're supposed to execute you.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. Also, like, we need to find these fingers and we need to do something with them.
Yeah.
If you can eat them, that works for me. So that's pretty much how it goes. So then they take him to Hogwarts.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going back to like what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Of how like I think the first half of the season is what's supposed to hook you.
Yeah, it
and
did.
Right. And
Yeah.
and that's what keeps you coming back regardless of what happens afterwards, right?
I'm
Because
gonna
you're invested at that point.
Yeah, I'm going to say this one time and I'm not going to say it again. But that doesn't give you an excuse to lose me. You have to keep me. You can't just hook me and then throw what you hooked me with out the window. Because then I'm going to start getting annoyed. I'm going to start getting frustrated and I'm going to give up.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
So you've spoken in the past about not liking formulaic monster of the week type things.
Yeah.
For me, the layout of the show very early on was, okay, we are going to be collecting fingers, like
Yeah.
Shikon jewel shards,
Yeah.
from various degrees of monster of the week type, curse
Oh,
of
yeah.
the week
I was
type
worried about that
things.
too. I try not to mention it because I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I was worried about that too. Dude.
I was worried about that for you when
Yeah.
I started watching
Yeah.
this for the first time, knowing you would eventually watch this. I'm like, Jordy's going to fucking hate this.
Yeah.
But I thought they did actually a decent job of kind of subverting your expectations
agree.
on that and not just giving you that all over the place, right?
agree.
It almost, though, went too far.
Yeah.
to the point where I did want a few more fingers being collected. I wanted them to pull on
Yeah.
that main storyline a bit more than they did.
Even if not fingers necessarily, more like, again, that section of
Yuji's trial.
Yeah.
just more of his growth as a sorcerer.
Yes.
More of his experience
You don't
fighting
think watching
curses.
movies over and over again, trying to hold a fucking...
No, I
No,
don't
but you
think
know
that's
what?
good training.
You're right. Developing the entire last arc, which was the tournament, but that was essentially like a training montage for Yuji.
Yeah.
For him to reach a new power level to come out of on
and
the
they
other
did.
side. It's a lot of time to dedicate to that.
Yeah, and they did introduce another plot element that we didn't know about yet, and this is like part of the reason why Gojo's setting up the coup is because like the old man Dumbledore motherfucker is like still trying to kill Yuji, and like getting all these other sorcerers to try and do it through the tournament.
Yeah.
And so there's this like there's shit going on. It's just not the shit they hooked me with.
Yeah,
You know
all
what I
the
mean?
politics. But that's what I love about this is that there's so many more layers, right? Instead of just the main character.
They just presented it in a blocky way. Here's the block of the thing we're gonna hook you with. Here's the block of we're gonna do the tournament and we're gonna learn about the politics. And that's like all we got. And I was like, integrate it a bit more. Make it flow naturally. Make it feel good while I'm watching
get
it.
that more once we hit the
know.
second season.
But you
This
can
is
do it in
20
one season too.
You
You can fit all this in a better, more cohesive way than just this block and this block.
You know,
I
listen,
think they did a really good job already.
I think we've said before, and again, I don't want to sound like a broken record either. We've said before that it's
Yeah.
always tough to adapt a manga. Okay.
Yeah.
Manga pacing is not TV anime
In a manga,
on-screen pacing.
in a manga, would they have interspersed those two situations happening, or would they have a whole block in a manga of a training module and a whole block in
you
the
might
manga?
have I don't know. I've never read the manga, but some mangas like you'll have an entire volume that just follows one part of the story, and then another book that follows the other part of the
See,
story.
and that
You'll
would bother me
jump
too,
around
though. If
chapter
the
by
one part
chapter.
of the story is like not as good and like kind of feels like a departure from what I'm looking forward to, that's going to annoy me in a manga the same way it does in an anime.
Right. I'm just saying, like, it's a monumental task, I think, to adapt a different medium into this. So I think it was kind of inevitable that this was going to have some pacing issues. I think that's super common in anime. You know what I mean? Being along for the long ride, you know you're going to get these answers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So complaining about the pacing in a story that is ongoing and continuous feels unfair.
I guess, but like if you're
That's
gonna
the
release,
word I was looking
but
for.
here's the thing, though.
Unfair. You are unfair,
No,
sir.
dude. I just like what I like, and in the end, if you're gonna put out a season of a show, you can't just use that as an excuse to pace it poorly. The single standalone season still has to flow well.
Yeah.
It has to.
But you
But
can
it's-
only work with
yeah.
what you have available to you.
But that
the
doesn't-
manga.
Okay, but that's not an excuse to just poorly pace your
Okay.
episodes.
We're getting caught in the
We
fucking
are
weeds.
really hard,
yeah,
man.
We like even I got caught in the fucking weeds for a little bit. Anyways,
Okay.
Shweebs, help us out.
Yeah.
For those of you who have read the manga, let us know. Is it blocky? Is it?
Do you think the anime is
it's
blocking? Do you agree with Mikey?
Blocky?
Do you agree with me? I don't know. Jay seems to be on the fence. He seems to see both sides.
Yeah.
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 I think I was just explaining the reason. I wasn't trying to justify it. I think it was
Yeah.
just that's
Fair
why
enough.
it is that way.
Well, sometimes reasons are excuses. Moving on now.
what does that even mean?
Just saying. Okay, let's talk about a funny part. So we get to Hogwarts, and Yuji meets this like one of the teachers, I guess, who we don't learn much about. He can like create these cursed creatures.
The
that
principal
are like,
of the entire school.
Is that who he is? Then who's Dumbledore? I thought he was the principal of the entire school.
He's like the head mat. It's like it's weird.
I don't know.
'cause- So
It doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you, dude.
okay, fine. Fuck you.
You can
Yeah,
explain
okay.
it if it's important.
No, I don't want to
No,
explain it to you
there's
anymore.
like anything. There's like a council. There's like a student,
Yeah.
like a.
Oh,
like
that's who this guy
there's
is then?
a school board type council.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's multiple
Dumbledore's
schools,
on that.
He's
right?
like Miss McGonagall.
right? So Gojo's school is the Tokyo school.
That's right. Yeah, there's
Right.
two main ones or something they
Yeah.
explain, right?
And this
Okay.
is the principal of the Tokyo school.
Okay, fair enough. Anyways, Yuji runs in the room and he's like asking him questions, and he goes, "I'm into girls like Jennifer Lawrence." He just blurts that out. Why?
because it's funny.
I guess that was such a random thing to say. Anyways,
Hey,
it made me
Well, he
laugh.
was sharing something about himself.
Yeah.
He just did it in such a strange way. It was
Yeah,
very strange.
I think it was trying to illustrate how uncomfortable he was in that fucking
He was
room.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, also
Yeah.
in a lot of schools, I mean, as far as anime goes, anytime you have a transfer student or somebody introducing themselves into the classroom,
Yeah.
they always say, "Hey, my name is."
Yeah.
this. Nice to meet everybody.
Could you imagine?
This
Hi,
is
my
what I
name's
like.
Jordy, and I like girls like Jennifer Lawrence. Okay,
Yeah.
bye. Silly thing to say. Anyways, then he has to fight one of this guy's cursed like green. He makes dolls, right? And that doll was fucking silly as shit. And then he points at his butthole to like taunt him. That made me laugh. Okay, so then we meet our team, right? We've got Fushiguro, we've got Yuji, and we've got Kugisaki, or I don't know what you would call her. I was going with last names mostly.
Yeah, Kugisaki. That's what I
Okay, cool. So, and they get sent on their first mission. They get sent to Tokyo. And they explain that now, like, curses are stronger in denser populations. And we learn about something called windows, where they're like non-sorcerer people who can see the curses, which to me, like, they didn't use that. They explained it and then didn't use it, but I don't know. They probably will, right? I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, there might be moments where they might, but like, I kind of feel like they did that a little bit with Yuji's new friend that ended up dying.
Junpei?
Yeah.
But he was a sorcerer.
He wasn't.
He became one.
He became one, but initially, if he didn't meet somebody to teach him to become a sorcerer, he would have just been a regular boy.
I guess he was a window. You're right, because he
right?
saw that guy when that guy fucked those guys' heads up in the movie theater. Good point.
You're
well
welcome.
done. Okay, cool. Okay, so they have to fight a demon and they beat it. The demon has a finger, so they've got another finger. And at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to keep track of 20 fingers. It's too many. So I'm just gonna let them tell me every time.
Yeah.
Because like, there's no way I'm got a ticker or whatever. to
But
keep
they
track
will
of.
tell you.
Of course they will. Absolutely, yeah. And then something crazy happens where Sakuna, so how do you say it? Sukuna, he takes over Yuji's body. And essentially like holds him hostage and rips his heart out. And he's like, I can survive this, but this guy can't. So you got to do something, right?
So sick, dude.
That was a sick move, right? Yeah. Because he's essentially Sakuna can exist because all his fingers are like scattered all over and he's just hanging out in his domain.
Yeah.
So, right? He's currently inhabiting this body, but not entirely, and he can move around, right? That's how they explain it. And then Yuji essentially does die from this, but then he and Sakuna make a deal.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, and the deal is weird too because he's like, "I'll let you live, but in exchange, you need to let me like snag a minute with your body every now and then."
Yeah.
Anytime I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it never happens.
Yeah.
Like
Not
he
yet.
never gets his side of the deal.
No,
Not
not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
He has to trigger a word.
Yeah.
It's when he wants to,
Yeah.
he says a word, and all of a sudden they will switch.
Okay.
And
But
that,
nobody else knows that deal was made, right?
Not even
Not
Yuji.
Yeah, because Yuji forgot.
Part of the deal was that he would not remember the deal when he woke up.
I missed that.
So Yuji's walking around thinking that they're all copacetic, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
at any given time,
Yeah.
Sukuna can basically just say his command word, and
Okay.
Yuji's fucking lost it.
Crazy.
It's a background ticking time bomb
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
to wait for it to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
I
it's
forgot
for
about that.
But it's only
minute?
for 1 minute.
1
yeah.
minute, and also he can't hurt any of his friends.
That's right. He can't hurt or kill anybody. He's promised that.
Yeah.
Which is like, all right, I would make that deal too, to be honest with you. What's the worst he's going to do?
But I love the way they go.
He's probably going to do something really bad. Yeah.
He's gonna fuck something up.
Yeah.
I
man.
love the way they go about that though, where he's like, at first he's like, no, I'm not down. I don't like that deal. And then they're just like, all right, fine. How about this? We'll fight to the death. And
Yeah.
if I win,
Yeah.
we'll do it. And if you win, we'll have it your way. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. Sing. And just the line goes across his face. Just completely decapitated.
Yeah, he was going to get that was going to be the deal whether he agreed to it or
Yeah.
not. That was funny.
Amazing.
And then they decide basically like he lives. They make the deal, and the Gojo and Fushiguro, I guess, kind of decide to let not even Fushiguro, just Gojo. They want to let people think Yuji is dead.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's just going to be training, right?
Yep.
Or training or whatever. So then we get this scene where we are introduced to what I call the Curse Squad. They walk into a restaurant, right?
Yes.
And we learn that one of them clearly is like a sorcerer, and the other ones are all curses. And they sit in a restaurant, and they discuss their plan to replace all the humans on Earth with curses. That's their whole plan, right?
Yep.
And then they burn everyone in the restaurant alive.
Well, the one guy does.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
turns up the oven.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a terrifying scene.
That was really terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. People are burning alive, dude.
spontaneously combusting, and they don't
Yeah.
know why.
And at first, it's just one person, then everyone's screaming, and then someone's trying to run out the door, and they're burning alive.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he's just grinning that whole time with his
Yeah.
fucking black
Yeah.
teeth, and
Yeah.
it's like, geez.
That was twisted.
Yeah, the black teeth actually got me.
Yeah.
That's how like it's so
It's
so
creepy.
weird.
It's really
Yeah.
creepy. Okay, so meanwhile at school, we meet like a bunch of other students, right?
Yep.
A bunch of other grades. We meet Panda Maju. We meet dude who only speaks in rice ball ingredients.
Yes.
We meet
Salmon.
Itadori's
Salmon.
best friend.
Tuna.
We meet an actual witch. We meet a robot. We meet an aggressive librarian. We meet the fucking gamut of random magical powers. Like, it's bizarre, dude.
Yep.
And we got a little bit more insight on Gojo's revolution. He's talking about planning. And then we get Yuji doing his training underground. He's in a room watching movies, petting this like punch out bear or something, right?
And he has to continuously pour cursed energy into
Yeah,
it.
or else he's gonna get punched in the face.
I love it, dude.
I mean, fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna make you watch Shaman King one day, and you'll see the fucking weirdest little spirit puppets.
There's always one, right? There's always one or two in the show. Okay, and then we get another fight. We get Gojo versus Volcano Head, who again, that's his name as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
And this was like a face off that I was like, oh, okay, fine, if this was gonna happen. But the fight scene was so fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
So goddamn good. And like Gojo's moves are amazing. He does this like infinity move or whatever, where he like holds the guy's hand, which you and I do sometimes, and time slows down just like it happens with you and I, right? And then I asked myself, like, is this infinity?
Yeah,
And it is, right? Yeah, it was fucking.
We share a moment.
It was fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I love that fight scene. And then
I love like one of the things that I liked about that, and this is the one I wanted to bring up as far as like a good method of exposition is like Gojo just disappears and comes back with Yuji in his hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, I'm going to teach you about domain expansion.
Yeah, he
right
goes,
now.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
That was the abrupt training thing that.
Yeah.
But I love that like
Yeah.
he's so confident in his ability to just wreck that fight. Like he just knows he's going to
Totally.
demolish this guy. That he's
He's
just
like, watch this.
This is a teachable moment. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
And then he brings him in, and
Yeah.
it's exposition for us because we
Yeah.
learn for the first time
Yeah.
the ins and outs of domain expansion. Really.
Totally. And I liked that one was built more into the plot, like you said.
And that's what I'm saying. I
And
thought
I
they did
liked
a
that
really
one.
good job
That one.
at teaching us something in that moment that didn't feel just like exposition.
You're right.
It felt like appropriate for the characters and appropriate for the story for that to happen.
Totally, 100%. I agree without
Yeah.
question. And also, his domain is called Infinite Void,
Yeah.
and it's basically just tripping balls,
Yeah.
right?
It's yeah,
It's so
knowing
good.
it
everything.
was sick.
Yeah.
It's experiencing everything all at once.
Yeah.
So all you can do is nothing.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was the best one by far. Some of the other ones were just like kind of neat looking. His was like really striking.
Yeah.
Well, I
Really
think that's
striking.
the thing with his. It's so cerebral, where everything is so much more like everybody else is so much literal.
Yeah.
Right. Like okay, I have this domain. Something is going to pop out and kill you.
Yeah.
Well, Volcano Head or Jugo.
Yeah.
His is just an oven.
Yeah.
A super hot oven. As soon as you
Yeah.
go in, you're supposed to spontaneously combust, just
Yeah.
like he does in a normal room.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. Right.
Next.
Yeah, tripping balls was the best domain though. That's where I want to go if I have to go to a domain. So, anyways,
trip balls and then die.
well, I mean, if I'm gonna die, I might as well trip balls as I'm going out. Anyways, Volcano Head gets decapitated.
Yep.
And like just in the nick of time, fucking tree face dude shows up and like snags the head and takes it back to their little paradise island.
Okay, so here, my question is the tree face dude a girl? Because I feel like it's a girl, actually.
Hanami is an alien.
Oh, yeah.
An alien?
Yeah, I think
I wish you didn't say that.
Not alien, like not human.
It's a curse.
it's a curse. Yeah, we know it's a curse. It's
a curse.
But like
They don't have to be gendered. They're not
That's-
humans
okay,
in a
that's
way
fair.
too, right? Like,
That's fair.
Yeah.
yeah, but
That's fair.
I could have sworn they mentioned something about like
It's weird because at first
maybe they said otherworldly. That's why I thought
for sure.
alien.
At first, it speaks backwards. And if
Yes.
you're reading the subtitles, it's sentences. They're just backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then later on, this is another thing that kind of annoyed me. Later on, they're just like, "Oh, we can understand him now," and it just
Yeah.
stops working. So that was
Yeah.
like, okay, why did you have him speaking backwards in the first place?
But or it could
Shock
have been
value.
a tree,
It's-
like
it's
a
it's
forest
definitely-
spirit.
Well, they do
Maybe.
kind of explain.
Yeah.
They do
It's
kind of explain.
otherworldly. Like
Yeah.
that's all we really like
Yeah.
know is that it's not of this world. So I mean, whether it's a guy or a girl, I
Yeah.
don't know.
All right, Shweebs, you guys,
It's
you guys
neither.
fucking help
How about
us.
that?
I think neither.
Yeah.
I think it's just a curse.
neither.
But they do
Curse.
kind of explain that curses are built upon like fear of things.
Yeah,
And
it's
so there's
usually-
certain big ones that like everybody's afraid of that are the most powerful curses. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I think you have Tree Guy because like people are afraid of like being alone in the woods.
Yeah.
And that's why you have Volcano Guy because people are afraid of like burning alive because of lava.
Mm-hmm.
That's why those ones are most powerful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, what was
Potentially, yeah.
the patchwork guy? Like he was the fear of the like humans themselves, or something like that.
Yeah, I believe that. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Each one of them is attached to an actual human fear. And
Yeah.
the ones that more people are afraid of are going to be the more powerful ones, right?
I don't know if it's that literal. I think you read Chainsaw Man, and I
didn't read Chainsaw Man,
Well, I
though.
told you about Chainsaw Man,
Yeah.
and you might be getting the two a little mixed up. Like
Maybe.
the idea is that cursed energy collects in certain places
Okay.
and in certain settings.
Yeah.
Okay. Jails.
Yeah.
Schools.
Yeah.
Places like that where there's a lot of negative energy hold up, and that's what shapes these curses.
Sure.
Is the setting in which they are. developed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
formed.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They're not actually literally tied to actual fears.
Yeah.
At least I got none of what you just said. The fear of the woods.
I made
Fear
that
of
specific,
volcanoes.
I made that specific one up, but they did tell you like things that have more fear around them become stronger curses.
Yeah,
I think they did
there is a
explain
mechanic
that.
like that.
then
Yeah.
then I feel like it was probably if the curses themselves are feared,
Yeah, maybe.
they become more powerful. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a
You don't know
one-to-one
if
relation.
we're talking
like
chicken
that.
and egg right here.
Because
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
that
Shweebs.
anybody that knows about Chainsaw Man, who's read Chainsaw Man, knows that is literally the premise that
Yeah.
it's actual things
Yeah.
have a demon associated with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sharks, guns,
Yeah.
bombs,
Yeah,
knives,
each one has a demon.
associated with it, and,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
depending on how afraid people are of said thing, that's how powerful the demon is. That's why I'm confused. That's why I'm like,
I feel like there was an actual scene where Mahito is explaining it to Junpei. He's explaining it to him, and he explains it that way. But again, I could be wrong.
I'll have to rewatch.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll have to rewatch.
Shweebs, help us out.
Yeah.
Help us out, buddies.
Speaking of Junpei, let's talk about him now because this is where we kind of get into his story arc. So, Salaryman takes Yuji on a mission.
Yep.
Basically, there's like some bullies in a movie theater, and
Yep.
they get cursed for talking too loudly.
Yep.
Which was hilarious because I was like, wish I could do that. And so does Junpei. He also wished he could do that, and so he ends up like chasing that curse out into the street and is like, can you teach me how to do that?
Yeah.
The curse is like, okay. And so now we get a supervillain origin arc, or at least so we think.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, this is how you get a supervillain. You know what I mean?
or at least a permanent character in the cast.
Yeah.
He even
You-
made it
yeah,
into the
you
opening
thought.
sequence.
Yeah, I didn't notice that because I skipped it every time. But
He's
cool.
having a good picnic with them at the end of the main sequence. Like they're all best friends.
Yeah.
He literally looks like one of the crew all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
And he was for a little bit there, at least him and Mahito. I don't know if he met the rest of the crew, but like they were like buddies.
no.
and,
but
like,
that was why the opening sequence was so misleading.
yeah, sure. Well, the opening sequence oftentimes is not indicative of what's happening in the show. It's just characters doing other things.
No, but that one was kind of like
That one got you, right?
Got me big
okay,
time.
fair enough. Okay, so then they, Yuji and Salaryman have to fight these two curses.
Yep.
And one of them keeps saying detergent, and the other one keeps saying lunchbox for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, for no reason at all. And this is where we first see Divergent Fist, which is like Yuji's
Yep.
main move, that fucking delayed energy 1-2 punch.
Yep.
Fucking loved that move, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
And it's a good mechanic too, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes so much sense, especially when they introduce an antagonist that's supposed to be like his natural enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. So then they defeat these two curses, but then they realize Yuji realizes anyhow, they weren't curses, they're humans. And he has this conflict
Yeah.
where he's like, can I kill cursed humans? They're still humans. And we've seen this before in Demon Slayer and in Parasite, right? Like this is a trope
Yep.
of like when humans get transformed and now they're not humans anymore and you have to kill them or you die, but now you're still killing humans. Right. And so they don't dig too deep into this conflict, but they do touch on it, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, it's just for his kind of growth, right?
Yeah,
Just-
totally.
that's a trope outside anime as well. Anything zombie
Yeah,
ever.
true.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah,
that
you end up
exact same
meeting.
conflict.
You end up coming across. If you're a survivor, you come across someone you loved once.
Are
They're
they
not
still
that
in
thing
there?
anymore? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or like you get bit as a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Right? Like in what was that, 100 days?
28 days.
28 days?
28
way
days
less
later.
days. 28
Something
days
like that.
later.
I can't remember. but
27
it's
days. 127 hours.
Anyway,
Okay, so then there's a really fucking funny scene where we realize that the jujitsu like sorcerer like team or whatever, they've identified Junpei as a
Yeah.
possible target. Like he's maybe the one who cursed these two people in the movie theater because he was seen on camera. So him and the butler go to chase him down and try and like interrogate him, and it's the funniest fucking scene because Yuji is awkward as fuck as always and ends up freaking out, panicking, and pantsing his teacher in the street, dude. Like it's fucking crazy, man. And then he ends up like meeting him later and being like super cool Yuji, like because now he's not he's not in the hot seat, right? And so he's like super cool and super nice, and then going to have dinner with his mom.
yeah.
And they form this like cute little family friendship, and it's like kind of nice. And then Junpei's mom gets killed by a curse. And there's a finger involved. And so, like, I don't quite understand. Did the curse that killed his mom have the finger? Like, I forget how that all went down. Do you remember?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it?
yeah.
The curse, they gave the curse that killed his mom a
No,
finger?
I think it was planted by one of the what's the patchwork guy's name?
Mojito.
Mojito.
Mojitos are delicious.
Mojitos are delicious.
So, anyways, this whole
But
thing.
also, there are fingers out there that are unaccounted for.
That's true, yeah.
That some
There's lots, yeah. There's
they're
tons.
just showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just one of them. But it turns out that I guess that was all a play, right? Like Mahito set that up to kill Junpei's mom. Junpei doesn't know that, right? But it's all been played out in order to like turn him, because it looked like he was gonna go good,
Right.
and then Mahito's like, nah.
No, yeah, because everything at the end of the day was to fuck with Yuji.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure,
Like-
100%. Yeah,
Right.
and this is actually like where we get this huge face off in the school, because now Mahito and Junpei are at the school, and like Yuji shows up with Fushiguro, right?
Yep.
And they have this huge face off, right? Was it Fushiguro or was it Gojo?
No, Fushiguro.
Okay, you're right.
If Gojo was there, it would have
Yeah,
gone
it would have been
much differently.
Yeah.
Okay,
It would
fair
have played
enough.
out way different.
Yeah. So Junpei has jellyfish powers, like he can conjure up a jellyfish, and Mahito is playing him hard, and like so there's this little battle with Junpei, and then like really quickly Mahito turns him into a crazy monster curse, and then we get another moment where Yuji's like, can I kill him? Like, this is my buddy.
Yeah.
We had dinner like just last night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's asking him to kill him as well.
Yeah. And there's babies that are asking them to kill them as well too, which was really fucking creepy. Like
Yeah.
babies are popping out, cursed babies. Kill me.
Yeah, like
Fucking twisted,
like,
dude.
They're tiny little things.
That was twisted, man. So this was a crazy scene
Yeah.
because Mahito knows that Yuji will have to bring Sakuna into play for some reason, like in order to get out of this situation. And then he asks Sakuna to come out. He's like, I'm going to need you here because I don't want to kill my friend. And Sakuna says no. And so Yuji has to be the one to kill Junpei, and he fucking loses it. And he says this line that like hit me in the gut, dude. He says, the next word spilled so deeply from my gut that it almost made everything else I've ever said a lie. I'll kill you. And Yuji goes beast mode.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a line that I was like,
remember
whoever
that.
wrote that,
Yeah.
well done. Well fucking done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That specific scene now, and it's just
It was
like,
amazing, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Goosebumps for sure.
Yeah.
So Mahito like essentially like runs away and goes outside and sets up his domain, but his domain is made in a certain way that Yuji can't get in, right? Except that he just punches his way in. He literally just punches a hole in the side of it and gets in there.
So
And,
Yuji.
and just jumps
Yeah.
in from the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what was cool is the reason he couldn't get in is because he's got Sakuna, and because Mahito pissed off Sakuna earlier.
Yeah.
He's like, I guess because.
He can't touch the soul, right?
That's right.
Sakuna's just like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, exactly.
And then as soon as he punches himself in, he's
now
like,
now their souls are connected,
Yeah.
and Mahito's done for, right?
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
to do this. Sukuna.
Sukuna?
Sukuna.
They spelled it S-A-K.
It's 100,000% SU. Sukuna.
Okay.
okay. Sukuna.
You can correct me as many times as you want. Tanjiro, Sukuna, Vegeta.
That one hurts me.
I don't know. You're probably right.
No, I'm 100%
Don't
right.
assume.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody should assume that I'm ever right about anything here.
I'm 100% right.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, everybody, guess what?
Sukuna.
Sukuna is right.
Sukuna. Okay, I'll try my best.
Okay.
Okay, so we think Mahito's dead, but he's not. He kind of like gets away. You know what I mean? And then like the Curse Squad regroups in their little Paradise Island, right? And now they have a new plan. They're like, well, we can't beat these motherfuckers, so like we can't be trusted to replace humans with curses. So here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna get all the fingers, we're gonna give them to Yuji, and clearly all that's gonna do is cause Sukuna to come out, take control, and he's gonna do what we wanted to do. He's gonna kill all the humans and let curses take control of the earth.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's the new
that's
plan.
that's like I mean that's the Gojo knows that that's a possibility as well,
Yeah.
right? He's banking on the best case scenario,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the Curse Squad
Totally,
is
yeah.
banking on the worst case scenario.
And that's
so they're
also
both
why
somehow-
Dumbledore wants to kill him, because he sees the worst case scenario as well, and he's like, we can't let that happen.
Well, it's just interesting that for a moment the plans of both our good guys and our bad guys are kind of aligned.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
get,
like-
get Yuji the fingers.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, right?
But they wanted it to happen for different reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he's
yeah.
a fucking atomic bomb waiting
Yeah.
to go off.
And like, who is he gonna fuck up at the end of the day?
Yeah,
And
like,
that
who's
gets
gonna-
me
who's gonna win?
so fucking jacked up for more.
Yeah.
I like that too, to be honest with you. I like that too. But sadly, pretty quickly, we get taken out of that plot for the whole rest of the show. So Gojo has this plan for Yuji's reintroduction because everyone still thinks he's dead.
I
Yeah.
love that he puts so
He's
much.
like, yeah, he's like, we're gonna put you in a box. He's like, people will laugh, people will cry, someone will barf, and we'll solve climate change. That's where he describes it. Dude. And then he pops out of the box, and nobody gives a shit.
They're mad.
Nobody cares at all,
They're
yeah.
so angry at
Yeah.
him, and they start beating him up.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get a whole arc of what they describe as a wacky cursed spirit exorcism race. They describe it like that, not me. That's their
right.
words.
Yeah.
Yes. Self-aware, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't need to go into how much I didn't enjoy the departure for like so many episodes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, we don't have to get caught in the weeds in
Yeah.
this one again, but like I think it was very integral to all their character development and also getting the backstories of certain other characters.
I
right?
just again, not to get on the weeds, but like we didn't know those characters yet, and so I didn't want their backstory at this point. I would have liked this backstory if I had met them before, or like had been like, you know, if they'd been built up, then I would have been stoked on this backstory. But instead, what we just got was a bunch of battles between people I didn't care about. You know what I mean?
For example,
we got blue hair girl versus librarian.
Yes.
We got witch versus hammer girl. We got Fushiguro versus Legolas, and Fushiguro has billy clubs now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got the girl with an actual gun versus the librarian. Turns out they're sisters.
Yeah.
Right. We get and then we get Panda Maju versus a robot dude.
Okay.
Like we just get battle after battle after battle of people who are on the same side essentially.
No, they're not. They're not quite. They are and they aren't, right?
I know because some of them are working for Dumbledore.
Yeah, some of them
Yeah.
are working. I can't believe I'm going to do this.
Are you calling him Dumbledore now?
Oh yeah, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
All my like considering I can't remember shit anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. But what it is you're looking so short term here, dude. You are looking specifically
Yeah.
at not going into watching the second season. You're specifically thinking, hey, we've done this podcast and it's over.
No, let me tell you what I'm looking at.
Don't tell you. Don't you tell me. I'll tell you.
You don't want me to tell you what I'm looking at? You want to tell me what I'm looking at. So go ahead and tell me.
Hey, how about both of you shut up, okay? And how about this? How about I'll explain it in a way that isn't you guys getting mad at each other, okay? Okay, because
Should we hold hands while you explain it?
No, because
said no.
Ultimately, like I understand that, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, this first season is going to be probably a little blip in the story. It's
Yeah,
going to be
sure.
all intro. So the pacing of this intro season, if you want to call it that,
Sure.
I in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture, the greater story is probably going to be irrelevant. Okay, so in that way, I'm with Mikey that I don't care that the pacing on this is a little sloppy. I'm in this for the long fucking haul.
Yeah.
This is going to be a small percentage of that. That being said,
Yeah.
okay, Toto, okay, who I said was my favorite guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I got multiple scenes with him before the tournament in the woods.
You got a few with him and Panda Dude. You got a few scenes with some of those.
That whole
yeah.
team, May as well,
Yeah.
the sister, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I came out of that whole arc liking them the best because
I agree
I
with
was
you.
getting character development from them dripped in along the way.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little bit of character development on all of these characters, Mekamaru, fucking all these different people, just dripped in as the story goes along instead of just fucking hitting the brakes on the story and saying, now we're going to commit fucking 8
Agreed.
episodes to just character development.
It was
only character
It was
development.
just heavy-handed the way they did it. They just wanted to punch one story into you at a time.
It got it done.
Yeah,
but
for
not
me,
but not effectively.
because you establish these characters. I know them now. I'm familiar
Yeah.
with them
Yeah.
now. But they could have done it in a more graceful narrative way.
Yes.
What they did that was fucking Fujimaru.
What?
Or what's his fucking name?
Mekamaru, the robot?
No.
Fushiguro.
Fushiguro.
Yeah,
Fuck,
but he's
Jesus
one of the
Christ.
main guys. We're talking
Yeah,
about this
you
like
see him in every
this
episode.
like half a
Yeah.
dozen guys you get in just this one section.
Yeah.
That literally they just pit them against each other so they can explain their backstories to each other.
Yes,
It was heavy-handed. It was heavy-handed.
Okay, fine, but I like that heavy-handedness because after this, we don't have to go back, and now we already know it going forward.
Yeah.
But
guess so.
I'm just saying, could they have not told all of that storytelling and all
Throughout?
that character development throughout
Like,
the season?
here's the thing. I'm new to anime, but I'm not new to TV. And so when I watch TV, most of the time, the first season of a good show is just really good start to finish. They don't have to stop halfway and introduce me to a bunch of characters that I'm going to meet in season 2. Right?
They don't always know they're getting more seasons, though.
That's
true,
thing.
too. Fair
They
enough.
know that here.
Okay, but even so, isn't that
They know they don't know. Well, at the time when they made this, they didn't know they were going to have a first.
The manga is there, though. They have the source material.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know that they can continue this story.
I just feel
if
like
they
when you're
get it.
delivering
Yeah,
it,
if they get okay,
Yeah, it's there.
When
That's
you
what
have-
I mean. The story's there for them.
yeah.
I just feel like when you have a
They know
product to
that.
deliver instead of issue by issue like a manga, when you have a job to deliver it season by season, you have a job to make that entire season flow well. And I just think that by doing it this way, you didn't. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyways,
Get in it for the long haul,
yeah.
bro.
And for the long haul.
I'm down for it in the long haul. I just think that the first season was like not handled well, in my opinion. Anyways, okay, so now we learn Dumbledore, who's a motherfucker, who's a schemer, he set this whole thing up, and now like at the end of this tournament, they're supposed to fight an actual curse, and he's like thrown it in there, and he's actually sent in one that's stronger than was supposed to go in. But it doesn't even matter because fucking Bizarro World Groot shows up and fucks that guy up before anyone has a chance to fight him. And like, I'll be honest with you, Bizarro World Groot was a fucking cool demon, to be honest,
Yeah.
or curse or whatever the fuck. And now we know that because he's there, now that we know that the whole curse squad is on the scene.
Yeah.
And then now we're not in the tournament anymore. Now we're back in the story that I wanted all along. And again, except for the random axe murderer dude and Dumbledore with a guitar, which was kind of like annoying, to be honest with you. Like, that was a no for me. That was a no dice for me. So they set up this, like, what do they call it? A shield? Screen?
Yeah,
They call it
Barrier.
There's
Barrier.
a term for it, but anyways, they set up this barrier, and this one keeps Gojo out. He can't
Yeah.
get in. Everyone else can move in and out freely
Veil?
as they want. A veil, that's right.
Veil, yeah, that's what it was
And
called.
he can't get in. Okay, so Groot is like basically now on the scene, and he's fucking people up. Doesn't he fuck up the rice ball boy, whatever?
Well, he kind of gets fucked up, Inumaki. Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's a character that we didn't talk about hardly at all.
Yeah, I like his curse power when he like pulls his mask down and says some real world shit, and like,
He says anything and
Yeah.
it happens.
but
Yeah.
he only says rice ball ingredients when his mouth's covered. When he's doing a curse, he can say actual words.
No. So his power is
Yeah.
that whatever he says,
Yeah.
or not whatever he says, things that he say or the things that he says will just happen.
Except for rice ball ingredients.
He's found safe words.
Okay, yeah.
That are he knows for sure
Yeah.
are good. Okay,
It's like he's like a cyclops, and his rice ball ingredients are like the thing he puts on, so he's not just blasting out of his eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
Essentially,
but if he says he could say something as benign as stop,
Yeah.
and somebody's heart could stop.
He's the Scarlet Witch.
right. He's got too much
Right?
power. But not only that, he doesn't want that to happen. But then he gets recoil.
Yeah.
Damage to his own body,
Okay.
depending on what he says or what he does. So
Interesting.
he could inadvertently fucking kill himself while killing somebody else.
Yeah.
There's fucking layers to this guy's power.
Yeah.
That it's not just some silly fucking sushi ingredient thing.
Yeah.
They like gave a lot of thought to him. I fucking love him. And I'm excited to see some more of him in the movie.
I didn't hate him.
yeah.
I didn't hate him as
Yeah.
much. But again, he's part of that team that they gave you a little bit more of.
Yes,
right.
agreed.
And so like
More episodes.
It was easy for me not to hate him because
Yeah.
we got a little more of him. Okay, so Yuji shows back up with his best friend Muscles and Panda Maju, and this is where he learns. This is where he learns about Black Flash
Yeah.
and how to like harness his energy better. So I don't know if he can do Divergent Fist anymore or needs to, because now he can harness the full power in the first blast, right?
No, but he can't use the Black Flash consistently all the time, right?
No, but even before he learns Black Flash, the guy explains to him, he's like, "Oh, you have Divergent Fist. That's because your cursed energy is like delayed. Let me show you how to like speed it up so you can use it all at once."
Toto views it as a shortcoming, but
Yeah.
Gojo earlier said this is great. This
Yeah.
is a nice technique. So
I agree with Gojo.
I think Yuji will be able to choose
still
when
use it?
to
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he uses another metaphor for explaining how cursed energy works, or how you basically can learn it. And he talks about the Black Flash. He's like, when everyone else is using their maneuvers, their moves, he uses like a chef ingredient metaphor, like cooking. He's like, everyone's just kind of throwing ingredients in because they're told that it works because of the recipe. But when you use Black Flash, you're tasting it. So you know the exact amount of how much to use in order to like focus your energy, which I was like, fine. It was kind of cool to me. Do you know what I mean? It was a little silly.
It got you, though.
It got me. It was a
you.
little silly, but also a little cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he lands the Black Flash on Groot, and then
Yeah.
Groot like heals himself immediately, which is kind of crazy. And then he reveals his like crazy fucking weird arm situation. That he's
Yeah,
got
and with
going
the
on.
flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess he's plants, so he can do
Yeah.
shit like that, right? Groot's fucking everybody up. Do you know what I mean? And then Muscles dude has like a switch maneuver he does. So now he
Every
can
time he
just
claps.
he can just switch their
Yeah.
places up, and then we have like maybe the best fight in the whole show. Is them switching back and forth and fighting him. But here's the crazy thing: is this whole scene is a decoy, because while this is all going on, Mahito is stealing all the fingers from Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy. And then we get another like departure, because that's like fight scene ends, and we have a baseball scene. Because you gotta have a baseball scene, right?
Yep.
I guess.
Because they couldn't figure out who was going to win between
Yeah.
the two teams.
Right.
So
maybe
this
just
was,
like
this was a nice
call it
way.
a draw and leave it for the day. Like you guys just
No, but
dealt
they
with some
need-
shit.
Right, but again, this is part of where the palate cleansing happens.
I don't want it.
It's tropey.
Yeah.
The baseball
It's
episode is tropey.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a Dragon Ball episode that's baseball.
Yeah.
Name the anime. There's a fucking baseball episode.
Yeah, exactly.
This is tradition at this
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
that they're just following through on.
Sure.
And you kind of just got to endure it, my bro.
I can endure it. I just don't have to like it. Enduring it is a good way to put
Hey.
it. I can endure
Hey,
it.
Mechamaru pitching machine.
That was the best part of the whole thing, dude. That was fucking killing me, man. That was fucking great.
yeah.
Okay, so at the very, very end, we're back to everyday curses, like I'll say, quote unquote. So there's like this bridge curse.
Yeah.
And you get a little Fushiguro backstory because that bridge curse fucked his sister up.
Yep.
And she's like in a coma, so he needs this one, but he can't do it.
This is like a bit of his redemption story, right?
Yeah, but he
Like,
doesn't do it. He like passes out. Like he can't do it, right? Which is kind of interesting character development for him too, because this plays into what Jay said earlier, is that like he thinks he's, you know what I mean? Like he's kind of hot-headed and he thinks he's hot shit, and in the end he's like still is what he is. You know what I mean?
But I think that's also really good for him because it's, he's now going to probably learn to rely on his partners more.
Yeah, I think so. And that's also plays into like Yuji saved him, and so he's forced to have to learn to rely on his partners, right? They really do make a good team.
Yeah, but they also, the really nice thing about that, what was the girl's name? The hammer girl?
Kugasaki.
Yep.
What?
Kugasaki.
Kugasaki's. So in Kugasaki, there's a whole scene where Yuji uses the black flash at the end there.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like Kugasaki actually uses the black flash too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it starts off with them using whatever other color, I think it was blue.
Sure.
But then simultaneously it all goes black.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think this is also really good for her backstory or her character development because she's getting stronger.
The three of them are definitely going to be the elite squad eventually. It's going to be the three of them and Gojo are going to be the most feared in the end, right? Like that's the way it's going to be. Anyway, so this whole fight is like there's Diglets. There's like a whack-a-mole game with Diglets. There's a Chippendale dancer.
Fucking Diglets.
Yeah, dude. That's what they are.
Man.
And there's a Chippendale dancer with a rotting back, and his brother is Slimer from Ghostbusters. I said that before. And our team wins, basically.
Yeah.
And again, like, didn't like any of those characters or curses, but the fight scene was so fucking primo, man.
Yep.
Like, it's weird that the fight scene can be so good and the character design can be so awful sometimes.
But that's anime.
I guess so. I guess so.
But even those designs aren't really like those are good designs. That's anime style designs.
Well, good is like up to the person who thinks that it's good or bad.
Subjective.
Yeah.
Also-
yeah, my subjections.
Like
I also have subjectives.
with action anime,
Yeah.
character designs, creature designs, some of the aesthetics of the show, the way the things look, that's coming mostly from the manga and the mangaka.
Sure.
But the actual action direction, the fight scenes, the movement, that's not in the manga panels.
So what
You
you're
might have
telling
a
me
few
is
key
I might not
frames.
like manga all that much. I might be more of an anime guy than a manga guy.
Yeah, because I give full credit of the fight scenes and the movement and the motion and
That's the stunning part of this.
that's Studio Mappa. That is not in the manga.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that people say about Demon Slayer, right? They say that the anime is so much better because you really see the movement, you see the flames, you see the water rushing. You don't get that in the manga panels. Don't get me wrong, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the art is gorgeous across the board, but
Yeah.
to see these things in motion actually moving, to see the way Mappa does their fight choreography is fucking stunning. And I agree with you, dude. You see every hit.
It's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
not just flashing
don't
arms.
just-
No.
It's not just one.
See it, you feel the hit sometimes.
It's
right?
intense,
Like,
yeah. The way they land is like
It's-
really big, yeah.
It's well fucking done stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the animation studio. That's not necessarily the manga.
Well, they kill it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very last thing, there's a couple little like closing off things that happen. So they decide at the end of this fight they don't want to give Yuji the finger. Because they're like, Fujigiro's basically like, we don't know how many of these you can handle, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I won't eat it. And then his hand, Sukuna, eats it Miggy style, dude.
Miggy style.
Yeah. That fucking kills me, man.
Yeah.
And everyone looks at him like, and he's like, you son of a bitch. And he's like, yeah.
but there's just that moment where it just gets eaten, and he's just like, oh no.
And then he has to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was fucking funny, man. And then at the very, very end, we're like capping off, and it seems like Fushiguro and Kugisaki are up to something. Like they have this little aside where they're chatting. It was kind of ambiguous, but you're like, oh, there's something going on there that they're like, maybe it's like they know Yuji is like, they have to handle him in a certain way or something. But also then Yuji gets a moment with Sukuna?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're having this weird aside chat too. And at the time I was like, why are they doing that? But it's clear to me now it's because of the deal. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, like, I don't know what he says, but like they have this little aside. So it's like at the very end, they're building up that like something's going on within the group, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, because Yuji being like a ticking time bomb at the end of the day, his partners still, as much as they love Yuji, they still have to still consider the dangers around.
And they
Yuji.
just saw Sukuna.
Yeah.
Do it. I could never just confidently say it. They just saw Sukuna pull a move on his own. Like they're like, we're not gonna eat the finger, but then he just does. They're like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Guess we're not in control.
Yeah. And that's the fucking end, dude.
That's the fucking
For
end.
now, yeah.
And then we got the movie, which doesn't give us more in the sense of more story forward. We go back.
Oh, really?
We're gonna
it's a
get
prequel.
It's a prequel.
Oh.
So we're going to learn all about our friend Mr. Gojo.
And Gojo.
Interesting.
And the incident that they refer to a few moments throughout the season, they reference something that happened a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a student named Okotsu.
Yeah.
And
I
an
assumed
incident with
that
Geto.
was Geto.
No.
Okay.
So there's I don't know if you noticed, but within the series or the season, there's parts where Geto has the stitches on his forehead, but
Okay.
there's certain flashbacks where he doesn't have it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
like I speculate that when we watch this, we're gonna know what's up with that, right?
I did kind of assume that Geto was a student or a sorcerer at one point and
Yeah.
left. I may be wrong about that.
No,
but-
they do reference that. Like
Yeah.
they reference an incident at the school the previous year with Geto, and you don't know anything more about that.
Yeah.
And then they pepper him in here and there throughout the season.
Yeah.
And to me, it actually it made him very captivating to me. I got very like intrigued by this character. I wanted a lot more. I didn't get more, and I was
agree.
kind of pissed. But then I saw the trailer for the movie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, there we go. Give me a whole fucking movie of it,
Yeah.
and I'm good.
See, I like that I didn't get more because to me, they're building him up to be even more powerful than anyone else we've ever seen. It's not like they're just going to drop him brand new season 2.
Yeah.
They had to let you know he was there. They had to let you know he's in charge, but they're not going to really unfurl his full potential. They're going to let you watch all these other really powerful people fight first, and then we're going to get to him later.
Yeah.
So I like
yeah,
that.
they're saving it, right? I feel like there's 2 that we've seen so far that could maybe stand up to our boy Gojo.
Yeah.
Which is Sukuna at
Yeah.
full power.
Yeah.
And maybe Geto.
yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sick, dude.
Sick.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy.
You want me to score it?
What's your rating?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
7.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know it sounded like I would have scored it lower.
I honestly like the way that you're talking about the fucking.
You thought I would go lower?
No. The fight scenes. I thought you would have given it at least
The
like
fight scenes are great, dude. But again, I
Like-
really was jarred by the departure mid-season and by the lack of plot development in the first season. The first half was great. Don't get me wrong. The hype was big time. But to hype me up with such a good story like that and then leave me for dead? No thanks, man.
But that's what they do is they capture you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. Then now we're
But they
gonna
put me in a
put you
cage and ignore me. No, I need to be nurtured, dude. Dude, they need to nurture a sense of Stockholm syndrome in order for me to fall in love with them. They didn't do that. They captured
Jordy-
me and put me in a cage and left me be.
Jordy likes pacing. He likes flow. He likes the
Yeah.
story to be narratively driven
Yeah.
and focused.
Yeah.
He doesn't like fucking around and going off here and there and
Yeah.
stopping and doing this and
Yeah.
that. I'm seeing that now in the pattern of the shit that he likes.
Yeah.
He likes contained, linear fucking stories that he
he
can
can't
just
play,
sink
he can't play
into.
fucking RPGs. That's for sure. You would hate an RPG.
Or he would just
Yeah.
do all the main quest first and then
Yeah.
go off and do the side
He
quest
wouldn't
later
even do
if
the
he
side
wanted.
quests.
No, if it was like Star Wars or something, he would. Do
I
it.
probably would, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. If
Anyways.
That was the biggest detractor of the show. Also, as I said, obviously the magic, the heavy-handed, and the arbitrary nature of the magic skills kind of bugged me a little bit. But I'm learning that that's just a thing that I have to accept. Yes. Anyways,
All
that's my
right.
score. Yeah.
Senpai, what about you, buddy?
9.
9. Wow.
Wowzers.
9, solid
Yeah.
9. I was contemplating a 9.5, but I need a bit more. I've been given everything that I want so far, especially knowing that the movie is about my boy Geto.
Yeah.
But they just need to deliver on everything that I've been promised
Yeah.
at this point.
So you're holding off on that 0.5. You're holding out on it.
Yeah, if next season hits the way this one did, easy 9.5.
Yeah.
You give me another season that hits like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
on,
that's
let's
fair.
go.
That's fair.
you know?
So I would give this originally before I was starting to think about what I was going to say during the podcast, I was like, oh yeah, this is an easy 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Because
Did I own you? Did I bring it down for you?
no, it was actually
wish that I did.
no, it wasn't you. It was actually my own fucking doing.
Yeah.
When I started making the connections to Naruto.
Oh my
And
god.
Harry Potter?
Okay, that one hurt me, but and that didn't reduce my number. That
It
just
reduced
hurt.
your number of scoring your friendship with me.
Yeah. But it was just like the parallels and like and I get the influence, right? It's shonen and it's that same formula where like when I was watching this, I was so enthralled with it that I almost forgot about the formula.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was so nice about it. But then when I remembered the formula, I was like, oh yeah, the formula.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it got you in the moment means that the show is successful.
Yeah,
It definitely,
exactly.
even me, dude, it got its hooks in. Like, even though they departed and like gave me a second half of a season that was lackluster, it still left me wanting more because at the end of the season, they bring you right back in. They give you like one of the best fight scenes in the whole show, and you know what you're in for next season. You know what I mean? Like, they might depart for half of that season as well too, but I know I'm going to get a lot of really good shit.
Yeah, it's
a
true.
lot of it.
And think about the budget that this first season got, and now the budget the next season's going to get. Not to
Yeah.
mention Studio Mappa is like Attack on Titan. They're doing
Top of the game.
they're doing Chainsaw Man when that comes out. Like they're fucking killing it. So the money that season 2 on this is going to get, it's going to be fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just wait till the fucking movie. The movie itself already looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I
yeah.
mean, like, how much fucking money has that movie already made?
Biggest movie in 2021 in
Yeah.
Japan.
Wow. Yeah.
Beat out Eva through the final Evangelion movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but
Big stuff.
8. I could give it an 8.5 again, but I'm
Hold off for that 8.5 for the next season.
Yeah.
Just like Jay did.
Well, that's the thing, right?
They got to
Like-
earn that extra 0.5. They got to earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But as of right now, I'm giving it a solid 8.
All right. Sick.
Once
Sweet.
again, I'm the only one who likes the show.
Anyway,
It's the worst, yeah. I'll give it a 0.5.
Thanks for watching.
All right. For real. Thank you guys for watching. We love you.
Yeah, Jay, where can people find you?
Hanger91.bigcartel.com, hanger.91 on Instagram.
Hell yeah. I'm wearing only Hanger 91 merch for the rest of my life
Hell
until I
yeah.
die.
You look fucking beautiful.
And you can find me wearing that merch at Reaching In on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm Mikey Lee. You can find me at Korean Barbecue 86 on Instagram. I've got toys, I've got cats, and I've got the best opinions.
Wow.
Bye, everybody.